Our new partner who I'm really, really excited to announce we are working with. Super, super stoked. Thank you, Angie Huberman, for this connect. It's incredible. AG1 Athletic Greens. I've been using them for a while. I have them every morning on an empty stomach. Basically, take one scoop and you put it into a cup or glass or mug of 8 ounces of cold water. And this is all your greens for the day. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Every day I take this. It's so good for my digestion, my energy. It's simple. It's easy. I don't like taking a lot of vitamins. This has been really, really helpful for me. I've had a lot of stomach issues my whole life, and ever since I've been gluten-free and taking the AG1s, it's really helped me in my stomach in the mornings. I love it, and I'm so psyched that they're part of the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm sure a lot of people don't like eating greens, let alone drinking your greens, but I can tell you straight up, it's got a mild tropical taste, and the taste is actually really refreshing, and I really look forward to it each morning. Don't think it's just going to be just straight bland. It tastes really, really good, and it's good for you, so remember that. This one blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It's incredible, just one scoop, especially for musicians who are vegans or just musicians in general who want to get those daily greens. You can get the packets. It's incredible. I just gave some to my friend Derek from Sepultura. He traveled the whole entire world this summer, and he had those every single day. He said it saved him. I bring AG1s with me when I travel. It helps me stay healthy. You know the deal. If you're on tour and you are a picky eater, but you need to have your greens, sometimes catering doesn't have greens. Sometimes you miss the catering. Sometimes you miss the backstage food. Sometimes it's too late after the show to go get food that you like. So if you just have a scoop of AG1s in your hotel room before you go to bed, or you're in the hotel room at night and you're starving and you want something healthy, boom, life changer. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with some convenient daily nutrition. That's all you need, one scoop in a cup every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. This is it. I'm super psyched. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/OLLC. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/OLLC to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. This is incredible. I love it. It's just basic greens. For me personally, this has changed my life tremendously. I'm not a junk food vegan. I don't eat a lot of fake meats, so I'm strictly greens. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful new addition to my life. So once again, visit athleticgreens.com/OLLC. and get 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. athleticgreens.com/OLOC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. And if you want to get water, Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for merchandise and other things that's not water, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. Welcome to the One Life, One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today, I got my brother from another mother back in my kitchen, Mr. Chappelle Lacey. Thank you for being here.
As always.
Thank you for being here. And then in front of me, man, Canada's finest. I met this guy a long time ago. We'll talk about it. He's one of the busiest men I know. He's got 3 kids, a wife, so much positivity and energy. Mr. Matty Matheson, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We were just talking before this, but you have such a good energy. Like you're really alive.
Good. Yeah, we're real out here. You know, I always say I come from good parents. Yeah, my parents are good people.
I love when people say that.
Yeah,
that's like my favorite thing for a person to say is that they actually come from good parents, because most people are scared to say that because
fuck my parents.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, fuck my parents, but like. For someone to say, I actually come from good parents, I actually respect that.
More good than bad. You know, like they got their character defects and they got their shit. But
yeah. For sure, yeah.
But I I don't know. My parents are ultimate psychopaths. They're full love, full tear, fucking ready to pop off at any moment, ready to love, ready to feed people. Yeah. I think I just grew up in an open door policy house and having 2 brothers and a sister and lots of friends. We just always had people at the house. And it was just like, I think that's where like the core of my like hospitality mentality comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just like real, I like people. You know, like I genuinely like people. Like my house was never empty.
Yeah.
You know?
Where do you stand as far as siblings? Like,
I'm third, and then Grizz is younger than me, and then Steve is they all got stupid names. Sarah, there's Sarah.
Yeah, that's a lovely
Beeve,
family right there.
Yeah, Steve or Sarah, Beeve, me, and then Grizz.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so growing up in a small town too, huh?
Yeah, Fort Erie. Well, I grew up in a lot of different towns, but like I grew up in like the East Coast of Canada, moved around a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Nova Scotia, Ontario.
Yeah, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. Newfoundland.
You were born in St. John?
I was born in St. John, New Brunswick, and then moved to Truro, Nova Scotia. Shout out to Truro.
Shout out to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, lived in Dartmouth, lived in St. John, lived in Quispam-Sis. Fucking.
Why'd you guys move around so much?
You know, dad neaded jobs. Okay. I think it was just like, I always say my dad was always smart enough to not have a job.
Yeah.
You know, like I think he was just like, we always had food on the table and we always had like a place, but like I think my dad has had a lot of careers.
Yeah.
And I think my dad has had
thank you.
A lot of jobs. The same with my mom. And I think it's just like I just come from like kind of that like shit shoveling mentality and like kind of just doing what we need to do to take care of ours. And
it's pure working class.
Yeah, my mom's still out here serving tables. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom, 63,
yeah.
still bringing people dishes.
That's
I love
young
it
too, man. For having that many kids, 63 is young, I think.
Yeah, well, she had Sarah when she was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Vinny Stigma's like 67 now.
Yeah.
Just think about that, though.
Yeah, my dad's, there's like 64, 63,
awesome,
some shit. Yeah. And they had Sarah when they were like 16. And my dad, it's crazy because my mom's dad was the chief of police.
Wow.
My dad's dad was like a sergeant in the RCMP. And so like my dad was like Camaro driving like bad boys, you know, like little 70s like Camaro dude with the long hair and all that shit. And then like got like the chief of police's daughter pregnant. So that was tight.
Wow.
So then they had to get married. They had to do the marriage, you know?
Yeah.
And then the Mathesons were born, you know.
And you grew up in the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints?
Mormons. We
Really?
out here packing, dude, deep.
Yeah.
We were deep. We got excommunicated. Or my dad got us like excommunicated.
What does that mean for the listeners?
We just got taken out of like the history books, and we got taken out of like the program, and we got taken out. We had to like you got to get like extracted. I feel I don't know too much. We don't really talk about it.
Okay.
Too much. Like I'm willing to talk about it, but like I still have like I've never had to been like like truly. I think it was like when we were living in Dartmouth. It was a huge community. Church was filled. Like church was like Super Bowl Sunday every Sunday. There was hundreds of people, and the community was big. The fellowship was massive. Like it was every Sunday we would go to some other fucking family's house and have a hot dinner and hang out, and kids are running around like motherfuckers, and it's just like all this crazy ass shit. And then me and my brother, it was like one of those things. Is this like at an early age, I just didn't fuck with it. Yeah. I really like. How
old? Around
we were just born into it. Like we were all born into it, but like I think around
how old
like
were you? Like
I was like probably like 8 or 9, where I was just like
really
like the thing that I didn't fuck with or just didn't. It was very uneasy for me. Was like I was like a little klepto kid, so I was like at the store like stealing chocolate bars and like doing stuff, and theft is theft, and like there's like 3 levels of heaven.
Yeah.
So like at a young age, I was in the understanding, and my dad was like a high deacon or some shit, that I wasn't going to spend eternity with my parents. So then they were going to be in the celestial kingdom, and then I was going to be like down here in the basement, just like just like fucking scratching that shit. And I was just like, at a young age, I was just like, that ain't right. And I'm just like,
that's interesting. You caught that early, like around 8 or 9 years old.
Well, me and my brothers, we used to talk about it all the time. Like we just did it.
Okay.
Like at a very young age, we were always we were like, we don't want to go on this fucking mission shit. And like I don't know, it was just like a very was a very interesting thing because like we all talk about it, like it's just like we never fully fucked with it.
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't. Like it's still like I believe in some higher power shit, but I'm not organized religion guy at all.
Same.
But it is it was a very interesting like thing. Like we moved from like heavy Mormon town to like no Mormon town. So that is kind of what separated us and pulled us out at the beginning. And then there's like some funny ass moments like when we were like we moved to Fort Erie. There's like no church. We have to drive, 45 minutes to go to church. We show up. There's like no fellowship, no community, no nothing. Like 6 people in the fucking chapel.
Wow.
And we're just like, this ain't it. And so then all of a sudden, like I never missed a day of church in, close to like 13 years.
Wow.
And so it was just like, I remember the first time like my dad didn't come with us to church. And we're like, what was that about? And we were all like, what? And then all of a sudden I remember, and we were living in Fort Erie, which is the border town of Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And we were at I think the Walden Galleria is the big mall there. Well, it is the big mall there, but I don't know if the Hooters was in. We went to a Hooters when we were young. It was crazy for us to do something like that. Because we grew up, we never ate in restaurants. We never had I never had a Coca-Cola until like nothing. We were like straight abstinent of any sugar, straight like anything.
It's all making sense now.
Yeah, I'm a fucking... I was just like, what's cocaine, Mom? Thanks.
Wow.
I was like, no sugar? I'm going to fucking eat all this cocaine. But I think it was the craziest thing ever was...
did you want it more? Did you want to try things more, you think?
It was just a crazy thing, like seeing your parents, like watching your parents change is a trip. Yeah. And seeing something where you're like, your parents are like suit and dress, perfect things, and then all of a sudden your dad has like a non-alcohol. I remember still to this day ordered like an O'Doul's at Hooters, and I was like, we're at Hooters, and we're just like looking at the menu like dying because like we grew up more like I never seen The Simpsons, like I never saw television, like we never watched.
So this was strict like to the book.
We were allowed to watch 1 hour a week of television, I think. Like I'd watch like Astro Boy.
What about women? No sex till marriage, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, we were still so young. It wasn't even in like our brains, really.
Okay, so then I guess the school you went to at that time, probably elementary, like so everyone there was also Mormon because it was
no. It was all regular. Like
it was all regular.
Yeah. We were all just regular. We would just go to church and like our beliefs were our beliefs. Yeah. And like the way that we handled, like we weren't like really allowed to like sleep over at kids' houses, and like we weren't allowed to like. There was just a lot of little things, but we were. But my parents would have to like meet their parents. Like my parents were very just like very protective, and not in like a weird way. Like we were allowed to like still like we were running around,
like rightfully so. Yeah,
like running across train tracks and like breaking into like little buildings and like doing some fucked up shit when we were younger. Like still being like kids, like riding around on BMXs and throwing rocks in like old factory windows and like doing shit like that. Small town shit. But
were you into like music or skateboard or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I still remember my first tape was like I think like a Cream. I had like my dad gave me like a Cream tape, and like Sunshine of Your Love was like a thing. And then my dad was always like, he never fucked with like the Beatles, but he was like always like a Zeppelin guy, or he was like a fucking like Black Sabbath guy, or he was like into that. He was really into blues. They were really into like Johnny Lee Hooker, and like fucking that kind of stuff, and like fucking. I don't know, just like all that kind of like rock and roll, like 70s rock and roll shit.
Yeah.
And then like real blues shit. But
yeah, were you a good kid? Were you like a hyperactive, outgoing kid in school?
Yeah, I was class clown. Like I was just like full force, like little, because I was like the chubby brother. Like no one else in my family's big, so it's just like I'm always like my brothers are all like ribs and dick. So it's just like they're just fucking, they still got abs. I'm like, how do you guys still have abs? Like it's just like you guys got just walking around with abs and shit. And I just like it's crazy to me, but whatever.
Did you like play sports? Have like a lot of friends in school?
Yeah, I had buddies, and then we had lacrosse. I played lacrosse.
Nice.
Like everybody in Fort Erie played lacrosse. I never played hockey because I think once again, like later on in life, I'm kind of understanding like some financial boundaries of like having 3 sons, and like if one played hockey, maybe
it's expensive.
It is expensive. In Canada, it's like now it's like 10-15 grand a year. It's like a crazy thing to play hockey
for a kid.
Yeah, like it's just like skates and travel. Like if you're every single weekend, you got to travel to a town, get a hotel, get gas, like fucking all this shit. It's a whole thing. Jeez. And like in the town that we grew up, that I'm living now again. It's like you're watching it happen. Like my nephew was like, I think captain of the junior B team or assistant captain or some shit. And it's just like, it's one of those things. You watch a kid like grow up in that town, become a hockey player, not get into the NHL and like become a cop, it's just like, because that's like the good job. And it's just like this crazy ass thing. And I was just like, it was so funny when I'm proud of him for doing something, but it's still, I'm just like, like no more birthday gifts, no more presents, no more Christmas gifts. I don't buy cops presents. I was just like, don't get it twisted. I don't buy cops presents. Okay. Even though Grampy was a fucking chief, I ain't buying you shit. I was just like, I ain't getting you shit. And I told Sarah, I was just like, I ain't posting no family pics if he's got his uniform on. Mm-hmm. It's just like funny ass shit where she's just like, you're stressing me out. I'm like, I love him, but I'm like, I ain't fuck with no cops, bro. But he's like, I was like, you could have been a firefighter.
No family photos.
Yeah. Take that shit off.
And so were your parents strict in school, like with grades and shit like that?
No. That's the thing that's funny. They just like let us be us. Yeah. They really were. I think it was like they let us be us. Like I still remember, like, I think even in like grade 5, 6, and like grade 6, I think is when I got like Dookie. And when I got like Dookie in like grade 6, that's what, and I got fucking Definitely Maybe. My first 2 CDs were Definitely Maybe, and like my tapes, I had like a bunch of old 70s tapes and stuff like that. And then it was like quickly like Dookie grade 6 and like Definitely Maybe were my 2 CDs.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
Albums,
yeah. But those were my 2 first like actual CDs. And I remember like I went and got my ears pierced. My sister took me to go get my ears pierced. I really wanted my ears pierced. And I was like, my brothers were like norms. Like they still are. They're just like norms. They're construction and roofers and like normal ass dudes. They got their kids. They smoke cigs, drink their beer, whatever. Like normal dudes. And they're out there listening to like, like Jane's Addiction and like Creed and like, like that kind of white guy shit. Just like pure, like, like just like normal white dude, like fucking rock on, brother.
Yeah.
Just like fucking, let's go.
You're definitely the black sheep for sure.
Yeah. And it was just like, that's the thing is just like, I remember like in grade 8, I had like 2 eyebrow piercings and like dyed my hair like black and red. Yeah. It was just like, I was in a small town, had like the bullet belt and like all that shit. And it was just like one of those things is like, I think one of my sister's boyfriends left like fucking Danzig 3. And I started seeing that, and I was just like, what is it? Like the H.R. Geiger art and all this shit. And I was just like, what's this shit? And then...
So wait, were you discovering this while like still part of that like...
like it was still in that thing. It was still like, my parents like I always had to get, I remember I would have to get like radio version CDs or tapes. Like I remember getting... version. What the fuck, Cypress Hill with Three Little Putas? I got...
it's a Black Sunday album?
Maybe Black Sunday. Yeah. I remember going and getting that, and... I like somehow didn't get the radio version, and my parents are like looking over stuff, and they're like, "Do you know what putas means?" And I was just like, "Nah, dude, we're in Canada. There's no like Mexicans here." Like, I was like, "I don't know Spanish," and they're just like, that means whores, And you're like, "Oh, I don't know what whores is," And still like even like with Manson, I remember early on like White Zombie and Manson like early on like with the eyebrow shit. And like White Zombie, like Zombie and like Manson. And I still remember I was like, we're sitting down and your parents are asking you about like, oh, like what's your favorite song and trying to like talk to you about your shit.
Yeah.
And I still remember we're in this food court, probably like grade 7 or 8. And my mom's like, what's your favorite song on the CD? I was like, Cake and Sodomy. I was like, this song's hard. Like, it's just like, this song's amazing. And my mom's like, do you know what sodomy is? And I was just like, no. And she's like, bum sex.
Wow.
I'm like, Joan, you shut it down. I was like, bum sex?
Bum sex.
But I still remember like certain moments like that, where you're just like out there. I'm just like a fat, sweaty kid with like black hair, just being like Manson, Cake and Sodomy, mom, eating like pizza in the fucking cafeteria or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you find other kids like you in that town? Were there anybody in the same shit?
There was. It was like, it was amazing. Like I moved next to this kid. It's amazing moving. Like you meet like neighbors and all this kind of stuff. I moved around a lot. I still think my parents, they've moved over close to like 40 times.
Wow.
Something like that. Like they have some crazy numbers because they kept moving. Like my parents were very nomadic, very like something happens, like move to Las Vegas. Something happens, move to the Keys, move back to Canada. Like my parents would just be like, they'll figure shit out.
Okay.
Like my dad will start a job just like the same thing. That's maybe why I have so many like things.
You have so many.
Like my dad is like a G that way. Like he's just like, whatever, like one and done, do it, figure it out. We need pork chops and fucking rice. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I need to feed these kids. But I think it's like in the town. So we moved, and like all of a sudden my neighbor had like a Deftones hat. You know, and this is like 97, 90, probably 96, 97.
Yeah.
And
perfect time.
He had, it was like, I'm 40, so I'm 82. So it's just like, I think being next to Buffalo was like an amazing moment because like, you know, we went like Warped Tour where it was like Limp Bizkit before they had DJ, what was Lethal?
Yeah.
DJ Lethal. It was like Body Count, Deftones, like all that shit, like 96, 97 shit in Buffalo. And then living next to Buffalo, all these kids, we found these little kids, and it was like, you know, like Korn, Deftones, Limp Bizkit, like the first album. And then all of a sudden you just be like, I only want to listen to the songs with breakdowns. Like these songs, I only want to listen to the hard tracks. And then you find this other thing. And then going to Buffalo, there was a record store, Home of the Hits, you know, where everyone Daryl used to work there from Snapcase, and like everyone like used to work there, and you'd walk in and you're like, it was like Valhalla. And then we became like these, like the little Canadian crew that would like always come up and be like, yo, like what's this and what's this and what's this and like what's this, and then like it was really interesting. Like I still think like I remember going to like the first time I saw like Buried Alive, you know, and it was just like I went to go see Cave In, and it was like Cave In because I was still like I was kind of more metal than just like straight hardcore.
Okay.
So I was just like, I was going to see Cave In because Beyond Hypothermia was out, and it was just like popping. And then I was just like, and then it was like Every Time I Die's first show ever at Showplace. It was the first time they ever
Great
played.
venue.
Yeah. And it was like Every Time I Die, it was Cave In, and then I think even like Elliot and fucking Buried Alive. And
Scott Vogel's original band.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was just like, and before that, like Slugfest and fucking
Slugfest,
Slug best. And fucking and that kind of opened up our whole, then all of a sudden we were like, what's this? And that was like our first like show where we're like real hardcore.
Yeah.
And we was seeing like I still remember like seeing like Andy Williams mosh, and you're like, what's that? And you're like seeing like fools getting kicked in the face, and you're like, this is it, you know? And you're like seeing stuff like that. But I think it's like, even, I don't even know, like, it was amazing. Like just living next to Buffalo.
That's a cool way to discover.
It was just an amazing thing. Like me and my group of friends, it was like 5 of us. You know, it was
you going to America to discover this stuff, going to record stores and shit. It's cool.
It was the best. And it was just like going to Buffalo was the best. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, there's shows in Erie. You could go see Disciple. Or you could go see fucking, go to Rochester.
Brothers Keeper. Remember them, Rebecca?
Dude, Brothers Keeper is unreal. Mike Ski. Shout out to Mike Ski. And it's just like all that shit. Even Disciple. Like it was just like, and then you fall into all these different holes and you just find bands and you go in, and it was amazing. Like even like Robin, shout out to Robin at Home of the Hits. She was like the fucking big homie where like I would walk in and she would just be like, here's all the new stuff. And this is what, and you know, when record people like feel you and then they're like, yo, this is what you're doing. And then they set you up with your piles. You're getting 45s and getting all this good stuff. And it was just one of those things where it's just like going to like Buffalo had such an amazing like just punk scene too, and like going to like basement shows there was massive, and I think it was just like a like late 90s early 2000s was such a special time with Hellfest and being all of that stuff there at that moment was just like massive, and it was just like it was such a beautiful moment in hardcore, and it was like the end, like I don't know, it was the end and the beginning of something. Like without that beginning, there'd be like no metalcore or any of that kind of stuff. And it was just like everyone's trying to sound like Converge at that moment, and even Converge is trying to sound like Converge. And it's just like, you know, like it was a really fucking amazing time. And then that's when like during high school, like we stopped going, like that was the thing is like when we started going to Hooters and doing all these things, and like all of a sudden my whole world opened up because all of a sudden my parents were like, no more church. And and I was like, we were all just like, tight, no more church. And like, we were already out. Like we never, so it was like this interesting thing where all of a sudden my parents were like, became like even cooler. And then we became like real good friends. And then all of a sudden they started drinking. And then all of a sudden our house became like the house.
Okay.
Wow.
And our house became like the zone. And like there was some kids that weren't allowed to come over to our house, and then there was some kids that like it was like some real ass shit.
This is high school?
Yeah, and it was just like this beautiful moment in Fort Erie where it was just like we just had the most poppin' house parties, and like it turned into like like me and my brothers, my parents, and we would just have like house party. My parents would have their friends over.
Yeah.
And it was just like this beautiful thing where we were just all kind of mobbing out and hanging out and having a party. And it was just like, it was really like a safe place, to be honest. Like, it was just like, better here than fucking driving around drunk and doing all that kind of shit. Or like, we'd just go get drunk in the woods. We had this like kind of fucking thing in the woods called the honeycomb. And we'd just go out to the honeycomb because there was all these different kind of clearings. You just get all fucked up. Like, steal
so you drank before then? You drank before?
Yeah, I started doing, like, that's the thing too, is even when I was going to school, like church even, like the first time I ever did acid was like in grade 8. So it was just like I was always like, I got drunk the first time I ever got drunk was on Southern Comfort. And that was in like grade 8 was like me experimenting and getting fucked up and like going into the woods and like getting fucked up. And like,
did your parents know about you doing it?
No, the first time I got caught, like I walked in, I think I had like a 2-liter of like some wine cooler and I was just like fucking just like covered in like orange pop looking motherfucker. And I just like walked in and my parents both, like they're like, "Are you drunk?" And I'm just like, what? Like, and you're just like, it's so funny to think about now because it's just like whatever. But like, it is.
What's cool is like, it seems like your family, like you guys all evolved together as a unit. Yeah. Like, I don't know, it's kind of rare that you kind of hear that.
True.
To where like because some families it's just kind of like, that's just it. Just stays the same.
And they coming from
only a couple people within the family kind of evolve. But like for the just the strict foundation, family values, it seems like you guys all evolved together and like,
well, I think we were a team. I think of like us as like more of like a weird team where we were just like everyone's helping out each other and everyone's like loving each other. And it's just like with 3 brothers in a small town, like one gets in a fight, the other one has to go find the guy who fought them and beat them up. And like my older brother was like a known tough guy in town. So like everyone's always trying to press him to see how tough this like fucking idiot is.
Really?
Yeah. So he was like a kind of he was a really good fighter. And so it was just like every weekend it was just like, oh, we're at the bar and then somebody bumps into beef and now it's like, okay, let's go. And it's just like there's like amazing moments, like all these things. Like I love all that shit. Like
I love how open-minded your family was too, coming out of being Mormons and then like
But that's the thing is like that's the thing is like my parents are fucking, they're cool. They're like I still think like it's just like they're unshakable. And I think like that's where like a lot of people, like even my business partners, they're like, nothing gets you. And I'm just like, nah, nothing can. I was just like, I can't get got. Like, I can't get scared. I can't get nothing. I was just like, you don't even get it, what we went through. And it's just like, that's the thing. It's just like, because I'm like, being able to do a lot of things at the same time and keep the balls up in the air. It's like, I got a small ass team. I don't got no like golden financial goose investor thing. And like, I'm doing all this shit with my pennies and doing all this shit with like real people that are like out here, like shoveling shit to do what we need to do. And it's just like my mentality and my crew and my team is what we are truly building is like, everyone wins kind of system, right? Where I'm trying to like figure out, be like, yo, like I'm this like I'm this little net and all you motherfuckers, if you keep throwing me out there, let's go. Yeah. And I think it's just like, that's the same thing as like my parents and like us and all of us, we were just like, we're all winning. And then sometimes we lose and then we all pack up and we move and we got to keep going. But we're like, all of us, like, it's one of those things. It's like, we don't stop. Yeah. Like, and I think like that's the thing is like, there's a lot of times where like, I'd get like a toy for Christmas or like, I remember in grade 4, I still remember my brother got like Michael Jackson tape, like Dangerous. I got the little recorder and my other brother got like a blanket, and we got like each of us got like boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And we're all like, oh, you got like a tiger blanket. Sick. I'm like, I got this. And then you got that. Together, we got nothing. It's just like, okay, put the blanket down. And then we're going to all lay on it. We're going to listen to this tape. But together, we all had something a lot, and we all had those moments. Yeah. And I think like that's the thing is like we grew up not really having a lot. But we had so much because we did have each other. We were like the Matheson. I don't know. I still like. I'm like I love and hate them. It's the same shit, but it's just like in my brain. It's like it's straight like some fucking Stand By Me shit.
It sounds
at times for sure. Like being like it's like being in the church and at the same time being in like I still remember in grade 4, we were like we were pushing in, we would go up to these old factories on the train tracks and like push in air conditioners and get into the buildings that way. And just like, we were like, I got 2 brothers on my shoulders and we're like climbing up this thing, pushing in air conditioners. Wow. And I still remember we pushed in an air conditioner one time and there was people inside. And we pushed in the air conditioner and they're like, hey, and we're in grade 4. I'm in grade 4. My other Grizz is in like grade 3. And then Beeve is in grade 6. And we're all just running around and we're like breaking into these buildings. And like, we're just out there like on our little BMXs. And we're like running and hopping trains and like running in between trains and all this shit. And it's just
stand
like
by me shit for sure.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's so crazy. Or like running into the woods and like, we all got like little fucking, we never like, my dad would have like Dremel tools and shit. And so we used to carve our own like machine guns and like use a shoelace as a thing and go into the woods and play like fucking army shit.
Yeah. I love that, man.
And it's just like shit like that where it's just like, we had this like little fort that we made. And all that shit is just like, you find somehow there's like porn mags from other kids finding this fort and there's like shit in there like that. And they're like, and we're still like, like you're a kid, you're fighting with these things where like, I think people that are brought up with God and Jesus and heaven and all this stuff, it's like this crazy thing because you instantly put your kid into turmoil of right and wrong, right? But everyone naturally knows right and wrong without that. Yeah. Without those types of things.
That's very true.
And it's a trip. Like I was thinking about the other day, I was just sitting there and I was just like looking at I got 3 kids. I'm like, never in their life are they ever going to have to like, they don't even have to think about that, but they have empathy. They have discipline. They have understanding that like if they do something wrong, they need to apologize and they need to, and you can see that at a very young age. And you're like, you don't need this like overbearing thing of like you're gonna go to hell if you don't do this and like all this stuff where it's a trip. Like it is a wild thing where you're like, humans are good enough by themselves actually. You don't need to like repent and do all this shit. You do need to repent. You can apologize. You can be aware of your situation in any situation and be like, I was kind of an asshole, sorry about that.
Can I ask you guys something, because you guys are both dads? Like obviously from what you've explained and what I know of you, your kids are living a different life than what you guys lived.
100%.
Obviously, as kids, and like have probably a little bit more fortunate than you guys were when you guys were kids. So like as parents, like now that you're able to give your kids something better than what you guys have, like how do you how do you still teach them those core values of understanding, like where you guys in a sense like came from, like this is what you like people do have, how do you guide your kids through that? I don't know if that's like a weird question.
Toby,
I mean, like them knowing how I came up and then how good he has it.
That's what I'm saying. Without like pushing it down their throats.
I think just leading by example, and also knowing that Max is working a job now. He's making his own money. He's paying his own bills. Just the responsibility, the fact you still live at home and you're 19. It got kicked up on my mom when I was 17. It was such a different time growing up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think with my son from the jump, it was communication. It was open trust. Like we always knew with Max, if he was at a party, he was safe or where he was, he'd contact us, or he would text me and say, all my friends are going to skip this last period. Can I skip class? No kids are texting their parents asking if they can skip a class because our communication is so strong and that bond is so strong. And I didn't have a dad growing up, and I had my mom who didn't show the love that I got from my grandparents. And, my mom was working to raise 3 boys on her own. And now I totally understand and respect that. Back then I was probably felt neglected, but now I'm like, damn, that's really hard to raise 1 kid and let alone 3 kids. So just having that to look back on how I was raised and then how me and my wife are raising my son with the compassion and the love and all that stuff. Yeah. And I'm still learning too, even he's 19 years old. Every day it's something new being a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I mean, I just try to lead by example and he knows how hard I work to where I am with everything I've done in my life. And he knows that life isn't free. He knows he's not getting a free ride. And that's why I like when Max is like, hey, I want to get that myself. I don't want to get that because that's your hookup. I want to try to earn that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, want to earn a sponsorship or something, or work with somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to just get it because I have the connects.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't want to be that. Do you know what I'm saying? He wants to work for it. So, anyway. Something like that?
Yeah.
How was that? Thank you.
No, that's good.
No, it's good. I'm just like, my kids all young. Like, my kids are like 6'4", and 2.
Okay.
You got 3 boys?
No, 1 boy, 2 girls.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mac, Rizzo, and Ozzy.
Great names.
Yeah. Rizzo Louise and Ozzy Dorothea. And I'm just trying to like See, I got caught, like, it was like one of those things where, like, in my mentality was always like, I want my kids to, like, you know, have Christmas every year and be able to, like, have, like, things. And, like, I was just like, I want my kids to have, like, a normal life and not move around and like do things like where I'm like, we got our forever house, first house. We ain't moving nowhere.
Awesome.
My kids are all born. 2 of my children are born in that house.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, like my wife, we were lucky enough to have like 3 home births. And
Awesome.
and it's just like Mac was born in Toronto in our house we were renting, and then Ozzy and Rizzo were both born on the farm. And it was just like, it's weird. Like, I'm like, I want like superstructure in the sense of like, I just want like groundbreaking foundation shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to be like, nah, this is like your home. We ain't moving. This is it.
Stability,
yeah, like
consistency.
stability and all that kind of stuff. Cause it's just like, but even still, it's just like all the things like I don't got no regrets for my parents. Like I have very few actual resentments. There's certainly a handful of resentments, but there isn't like some crazy ass, like there isn't like, cause I'm like, that was just life.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to navigate life.
They don't.
There wasn't cell phones. You couldn't just go on cell phones and be like, oh yeah, here's 20,000 self-help memes, you know, that actually destroy you.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know,
True.
like it is one of those things. It's like there wasn't no like live, laugh, love. There was no nothing. It was just like people went to jobs and then came home and watched the news.
Yeah.
And like that was it. And I just think in a world like that, my parents did what they had to do. And like I think it was a beautiful
same.
thing. And I think it's just like I just want my and genuinely like it's just like I think having like me and Trish have been together for like 22 years
It's amazing,
and
man.
having
That's beautiful.
our children, it's the best. And it's still like we still like we fuck with each other hard. Like it is a beautiful thing. Like it is like I do my thing and Trisha does her thing, and we're very aware of what those two pillars are, and we both got each other's backs on 100%.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, if I'm over here focusing on our career and my career and focusing on our businesses and all that kind of stuff, and like you're focusing on our children and our home and like doing all that, and then now it's crazy because it's an amazing thing. Like she's starting to like get back into what she was a boss for years. Like she was running like J. Crew in Canada, and like she was the boss. Like before that, she was running like urban in fucking Toronto.
Yeah.
She was like always like she was top of her shit, and then wanted to be like ultimate mom zone. And I was just like, let's go. And it was at that perfect moment where she could be ultimate mom zone.
Yeah.
And we were very fortunate for that. And it's just like, but we're also like aware of like what it takes to do that.
Yeah.
And what I need to do to always be in a place of like furthering our future. And that's what I want. Like I want our grandkids to eat. I want our great grandkids to eat. Like I'm on a path to be like, I'm going to figure this out for all. We don't have to have like, I ain't trying to buy Range Rovers. You see the car I pulled up in? I ain't renting no fucking fancy ass car.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like put some money in the bank and like
Smart.
take care of people.
Smart.
Like
Super
I ain't trying to like, you know, I'm wearing $20 shoes. You know, like it's like I'm not trying to flex on anybody.
Yeah.
Flexing ain't it. I was just like, I want our grandkids to eat, you know, and it's just like I'm trying to figure that out right now, and I think I'm on a bit of a path for that. So it's just like I think that, you know, the same kind of thing is this, like we always had food.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't have snacks. Maybe we didn't have a whole snack cabinet like I got in our house. You know, or we certainly didn't have a pantry.
Yeah.
My mom was grinding flour. She was making her own flour out of grain and making fresh bread every week.
Wow.
Damn.
You know, like she was out there, like literally, I can still hear that machine, that fucking grain grinder, making fucking whole wheat bread every fucking week. And she'd make her own bread, and like those things are beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's just like at that moment, I think it was like because my dad was just like one of those guys. He's like, I bought a couple kilo bags of grains, and I got this thing. I got this grain grinder, and we're gonna make our own bread, you know. And before this like sourdough bullshit, and before all this like stuff, it was just like, you know, like
shit.
like all this shit. We were just out here making bread.
That's fucking dope.
So yeah, I mean, were you cooking? Did you start cooking at a young age with your family?
It wasn't like you know, in my books I write all this like romantic bullshit and like, you know, you're just spinning some yarn and, you know, like you're telling stories, making quilts out of nothing. Yeah. But I think it is like, you know, my grandfather, when he retired, my dad's dad, when he retired from being an RCMP, he had a lot of different jobs. He had like literally he had like a meat market slaughterhouse. My dad grew up in a slaughterhouse.
Wow.
Like slaughtering they had a cow farm and like pigs and all this kind of stuff. And then they sold the farm, and then he had a restaurant called the Blue Goose.
You spend the summers there, right?
Yeah, and like the Blue Goose is like I got a big Blue Goose on my chest, and like our farm now, our vegetable garden is named after Blue Goose as well. And which is an amazing thing. And I think just growing up, going to Prince Edward Island, and my grandfather, was a divorced man, and his wife and my grandmother lived very far away from each other, and he had like a little 1-bedroom apartment that was attached to his restaurant. It was a 1-bedroom apartment and a pull-out couch, and there was a Winnebago. And beside it, and like we would either stay in the Winnebago, or when we were really young, we would sleep in like the banquettes in the restaurant, because it was like a little soda pop shop on the one side, and then the main dining room of this diner. It was this beautiful fucking thing. Me and my brothers would like just lay on the banquettes, but we'd have to get up at like 6 a.m. because like they open at 7 for all the truckers on the highway. In PEI. And I think like there's moments of that, like, you're a kid and you're like running around in the back, and there's a garden. Like my grandfather grew vegetables, not for the restaurant, but like more for himself. Excuse me. And it was just like it was one of those things, and you're opening up the door from his 1-bedroom apartment, and you could see it went right into the kitchen, and you could see it. Like kitchens are really like bright, and they're stainless steel, and there's the clatter of everything, and it's like this whole thing, and like it was a really busy diner. It was like a 100-seat diner, so it was like it was a busy, really beloved kind of diner in Prince Edward Island. And I think that had a thing on me, but not until later. Like as a kid, like I didn't know anything. Like high school, I hated school. I was like always negotiating with my teachers just to get me 50. I'm like, what do I need to do just to get by? Like I'm always negotiating, like I was just like, I've been like a good negotiator for a while. And like, I think that started with like just me being in high school and just being like, like even in college, like I'd be like, like how do I, like, I don't need to be this is like a fucking elective. I'm not going to be some sociologist.
Yeah.
I'm in cooking school, but I got to take this bullshit for some fucking reason. I don't understand that system.
Yeah.
I want to be a fucking goddamn chef. I don't want to be some why am I learning about like Russian fucking prison sociology shit? And like, some criminal, I picked it because it was cool. I was like, criminal psychology shit. I was like, cool. And then I'm like, wait, I got to write essays on this? I got to spend my time? And that's the thing is like people's times are worth a lot of stuff. And I think schools and a lot of things are like, what kids are into. Yeah. And I think if kids are truly into something, they need to be like put into that path. Like it is like one of those things where it's just like, like they don't teach, like they should be teaching how to do taxes. They should be teaching how to like negotiate.
Like, if you want to teach that kind of stuff, like, like that's I think that, stuff that you actually, because I don't, listen, I can't remember the last time I did a fucking algebra problem.
Me either, man.
But I know I do
like
taxes
an isosceles
every year. I know, I know I have to deal with taxes every year. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like algebra. That's been out the door since I fucking
you meant it. It's a waste of everyone's time. The teacher's time, the curriculum, all this stuff. It's just like, you're giving everyone. And I think it is obviously about like equal opportunity stuff and like letting children find their places. But at an early age, like being like, okay, I don't know. I'm not like trying to get into this stuff, but I think it is like it's just like because I am pro school, but I think it is just like it's crazy town. Like I think it is a little bit of that, but it's just like like going into college was the first time that I ever did something. I'll take a water. Just still would be tight.
Is that you moved to Toronto for that?
Yeah, in like 2000. So I moved to like all that Buffalo stuff's before even 2000.
Yeah, Humber's cooking program.
Yeah, I went to Humber, and that was like the one time where I just like genuinely felt it was interesting. I never felt those feelings before. Yeah, I truly never felt like a part of school. For me was I would go sell weed, fucking skip class, and like me and my brothers all went to different schools because we all got kicked out of school. So like we were all like at different schools. So like we would all like sell weed and shrooms and whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
And whatever. Like we were just like 3 kids fucking banging shit out. I still remember quickly though. This is the best. I remember we punked this kid so good. I remember one time this kid called us and we were all in our garage like smoking weed and we're just like whatever. And my brother gets a call. And this kid's like, it was just like, yo, you got shrooms? And we're like, remember you would literally buy like individual grams of shrooms, like tinfoil wrapped sometimes?
I would not know that, but maybe
you wouldn't know that. Anyway,
I never
but it was just like, anyway, whatever.
Tell us what's up, yeah.
So maybe like where we grew up, we would literally, you'd take like a gram of mushrooms and you just individually wrap them in tin foil.
Okay.
And then you'd have a bag and then you could kind of just give them out like dime bags kind of thing.
Wow, okay.
And fucking, I remember this kid called us one time and like, they literally were just like, yo, we want like an ounce of shrooms. And we're like, we already got them portioned out into things. Like, will you buy them that way? Usually you get a little stepped on because it's like a little less than a full gram and blah, blah, blah. Or mostly it's like just like shroom dust and not full stem and all this stuff. And we convinced this person to buy like an ounce. We had like 100, whatever. We had like 100 packs of fucking shrooms.
Wow.
And we literally, I was just like, we ain't got no, my brother like gets off the phone. I'm like, we don't got no shrooms. He just like sweep the floor. And we just swept the garage, packed them all up into tinfoil, and just like drove out, gave this guy the bag, and he called us like, and we're like, come get your money. Like that was like my older brother was like that guy.
Damn.
We're just like, pull up.
Come get your
He was like, pull up. Whatever, bro. You want it? And I was just like, stuff like that, you know, like it's some crazy. There's even like that's like mild compared to like some of the things that me and my brothers have done. But I think it is a beautiful thing. And then like that's like high school shit. And then like college was just like crazy. College was even crazier because like I like.
Were you wilding out partying that crazy college?
Yeah,
thing?
like I was doing drugs. I was doing all drugs all day. Not all day, but like I was doing like every night. I was like party boy, like drank 20 beers, do a fucking couple grams of coke, do some E, do some LSD, like no problem. You know, like just real rock boy shit.
You know what's crazy? You know what's interesting? I know keep moving back to parent shit, but I think because like you guys had great parents is why you were able to like get out of that. Do you think that's fair to say?
I think because I think I always knew I did have something to lose.
Yeah.
You know, like I never. If you have love, if you have I think if you have true love in your life. That's something enough to keep, hopefully, most like addicts alive. Like, you know, and the people that, like, most people fuck up. Yeah. That OD. You know, most people actually fuck up. You know, I truly believe. Mm-hmm. It's a mistake. It's just too much. It's like, it is a mistake. Yeah. You know, people want to keep it going. And, you know, I like in college, my second year, I moved in with like 3 drug dealers. And it was just like, it was
that
fucking,
had to be hectic.
Dude, it was Valhalla. It was so sick. It was so sick. Because everyone sold different shit. Some were on like chems and pills, and some were on just like weed and soft. And like, you know, you're either soft or hard. And it was just like, it was amazing having all of it. And I didn't sell any drugs in college, but it was just like, it was just an amazing time. It was just like, we were just like, just psychopaths living in Rexdale and like living in Toronto in the spot and just
Is partying a big part of being like a chef and cook in the kitchen? I hear things like that.
Yeah, people like to romanticize that, but I think that's anybody that's buck. I think anyone that's like any type of fucking anything. Like you could be a horse jockey and some fucking heroin smoking tinfoil fool. Like it really doesn't like you know, like I think it is like everyone likes to romanticize the chef thing, and it is that thing where it's just like it's just been part of that makeup. You know, and I think like partly because of Kitchen Confidential and all that kind of stuff with Bourdain and like the romanticism of like doing heroin and doing cocaine and having sex with people in the walk-in and like all of these things of like romanticism of the industry are super cliche. They are real. They're real in anything. Yeah. Watch The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. You know, like I don't know. It's like it's real in any aspect. It's real in punk bands. It's real in every people. People are animals.
Cheerleading, I was a competitive cheerleader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheerleading, we went fucking crazy.
Okay.
Like, we had problems.
Yeah.
Okay, same.
But that's the thing is like, because I think the thing too is like wins and losses. Yeah. You're in a thing like every day is a win or a loss. So when you're in a position of every single day is a win or a loss, how do you deal with that win or a loss? Yeah. The same.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that it's actually the same. And I think like that's the thing. Everyone is like with restaurants, you have a rush. You have multiple rushes, right? You have to get there. That's a rush to even just
Yeah.
get to work on time. Then you
Yeah.
have to get your mise en place ready for service. Then you have to do service. Then you have to do clean down. And then all of a sudden it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And then you're like, I need to do something with all this energy. You're still like, you're on 4th, 5th wave.
Yeah.
And so then you're just like, you're like on a 12-hour shift. And then you go and you drink for fucking 5-6 hours. And you get like shit bad. Like my whole routine was like, I'd be at work by like, 9 or 11 a.m. usually. Then I'd be gone by like midnight at 1. And then I'd be out at the bar till like 6 or 8. And then I'd go home, and if I slept for like 3-4 hours and just like passed out and up, like I was gravy. And I was like that for like my career.
Wow.
Like up until I was 29.
Yeah.
And it's
You
just
had a
like
heart attack.
and then that was a yeah. So then that was like the big
What,
moment.
for real?
Yeah,
man.
at 29. So but I had a heart attack in my sleep. So like the heart attack came after like a 3-day bender. So then like
Cocaine shit, yeah.
like cocaine every day. Like it's just like whatever. Like it ain't like whatever. Yeah. Yeah, like everyone's just like you were doing it. You're just like, yeah, you breathe.
cocaine?
You breathe every
You're
day,
right.
fool. Like, yeah, let's go.
Wow.
But it was just like at that moment, like I was probably like an everyday user of multiple. Like the thing is like I'm a garbage head. Like where I'm like, what you got? You got oxys, you got LSD, you got K, you got things, you got whatever. Like,
Yeah.
bam, bam, meow, 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 meow. and then drink. Like at the end of it, I would be drinking like pint glasses of like I would fill like a pint glass. My drink at the end was a pint glass full of ice, and then I would just vodka like 3 limes, and I drank like those all night. Like that was just like my steady, sturdy fucking. That was what I was drinking.
Wow.
And then I would drink beers and then lots of Jameson every day. But it was just like the heart attack was this like I was so fucked. Like it was just like I was like fucked at the end. Like I was like like being like getting like blacklisted from my friends' bars and being like, Matty, don't come here if you're like that anymore. And like it was definitely I was like degenerating at a thing. And then
Were you still cooking? Were you losing jobs and stuff?
nah, well, I almost lost a job. Like it was just like no, I always made it to work.
Yeah.
I never
It didn't affect your work.
Well, it certainly did. It affected my work in the
Well, your
sense like
skills.
I was the chef. I was kind of a probably at certain moments quite a monster. But I think I went home and had that heart attack in my sleep, and I woke up because I went to the hospital thinking I was gonna have it.
Okay.
So then, like, I even got Trish. Trish like drove me to the hospital, which is like it's just like a couple blocks from our house actually, where we lived, and in Parkdale. And I was just like, I think I'm gonna go. Like, it's weird enough that I think I'm gonna go to the hospital because I used to get these palpitations all the time. So I just like, I'd be partying and like shoveling coke in my face, and I'd get these like little palpitations, and I just put my arms up over my head, and I'd like cough, and I'd like try to cough through these like palpitations, and just like keep going, and like just all this. Like I was just like a little party boy, but it's like,
Where do you think that came from? All the partying? Because it wasn't like you were in a house.
No, it's just like, I think, like I wasn't one of those, like at the end, I was like one of those dark dudes, like probably like block out, like staring through you, and like you try to stop me, and like I'd like swing on you. Like I've definitely like, yeah. But I think it's like forever. I was just like, I wasn't an angry guy. I was just like party boy. I just wanted to hug and kiss you and like just be like, who are you? Let's kiss.
You happy drunk?
Yeah, I was just like party boy, like straight up. Like I just wanted to party. I didn't want the party to end. I was always like one of the last guys there. I want to like throw beer at somebody or like do whatever. I was just like a bit of a fucking whatever.
But that's the wake up call, literally, when you're 29.
Yeah, but then I didn't even stop. Like that was like a thing where like I was in the hospital, and then they were like, you had a heart attack 4 hours ago, and I was just like, what? Yeah, so I'm like, at that moment I was like, so I'm cool.
Can I go home?
Yeah, no, straight up. I was just like, yo, can I like dip? Like, we good? And then they're like, no, you're not good. And then I was just like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, we just need to like, when you have a heart
We're
attack.
laughing, but it's not funny. It's fucking
so
crazy.
It's crazy.
Scary.
So then I was just like, well, can I call my parents? Can I call my parents? Can I call can I call some people? Like, can I go? So I go inside and like have a cigarette. Like I'm like having a cigarette in the parking lot. Like call my mom and call my dad.
Did your family know how wild you were at that time?
I think they knew that I was a part. Like I've been that guy.
Yeah.
Since fucking grade 10, 11.
But like coke every day, that kind of they
I
probably
don't think that. No, because like I was never the problem. My older brother was like the problem.
Okay.
You know, so like he took up all that air in my family of like drug addiction stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was just like, you know.
Is he sober now too?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
chill.
cool.
He's
Awesome.
great. He's got 2 beautiful children, married. Like it's incredible. It really is incredible. What people can do.
Yeah.
You know, it really is powerful.
So
how people can turn around.
even that wasn't rock bottom for you. That wasn't.
That wasn't even the rock bottom. That was like
shit.
that was like Superman shit. I turned into like I was like I can't even die.
So wait, what did they do to you at the hospital?
I was in the hospital because they take the enzymes in your body change.
Will you have a heart attack?
Yeah, so
Okay.
like I had to wait until my blood cells like flipped,
So
kind of thing.
They didn't do anything like.
I did like an angiogram. I did like a bunch.
Okay,
I didn't have to put a stint in somehow. So like I had a heart attack and still like I don't have any scar tissue on my heart actually. So it was like this weird thing that happened that like I go see
Probably
my
just from the bender.
Yeah. That's what they think. It was more of like a very intense like spasm almost of like it was a heart attack. Like it closed, but it didn't scar my heart.
Yeah.
And then like I've gone to like a lot of specialists like I've done like like I do a CAT scan every year. I do all this cardiologist every year. I do all this stuff to just maintain because I like but it's
So wait, you were sleeping and what? It woke you up in the middle.
It just
of the night?
it woke me up like I woke up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. and I was just like it just felt like an uncompromising squeeze. It just felt like my heart was getting squeezed and it wasn't getting tighter. It was just like a constant pressure that wouldn't relieve itself.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was just like, I'm really like being covered in, you really understand like pain being covered in tattoos
Totally.
in a very different way than most people understand.
Yeah.
So it's just like somebody that's like not like Tobes over here,
Yeah.
but you know, I got a couple spots left.
You got a lot,
Yeah.
man.
But you know, I was just like, this isn't stopping. Even like being a shot, like I've burned myself so bad. I've cut myself. I've done so many things where I'm like really aware of pain. And I was just like, this is not it. But I was in the hospital for about like a week and a half, like 10 days.
Okay.
So then after all that, I was good to go. I went home, chilling. And then within like 3 months, this is the transformation.
Okay.
This is like when I feel I became an addict. This is when I feel I became something I wasn't. When something came over me. Because before I was just like, good time Charlie, you know? Like I'm just out here trying to fucking lick a toilet seat and get fucked up and like, like I was just like a little fucking, you know, little slug.
Yeah.
And now people are saying like no to me a lot. Like, you're not dying in my bar. Now I'm like, I got like I'm the heart attack guy.
Okay.
So now like people like,
Your liability.
I'm not selling you drugs.
Yeah.
All my dealers are like, you're not dying on my bag. Because once again, like I got a lot of good friends. Even my drug dealer friends were like, I'm not selling you drugs no more. You know, like it was like one of those things. So then I had to go deeper. I had to go find people that didn't know me. I had to go find people. And this is before like TV shit and before all this like stuff. So like I was just like Matty, you know, fucking just like local guy, you know? So I'm just like, but it didn't take long to go find like real cutty bars or, you know, I always call them drug houses. You go walk into a couple drug houses and you just find different things. And all of a sudden you're hanging out with people that you don't really want to hang out with. And then you're just there for just
and
the
they're
drugs.
not your friends. They don't have your best interest.
Nah, they ain't got nothing. And then you're in this zone where you're just like, this is dark. And then you start lying. And then you're like, where were you? What are you doing? Like, what's up? Like, you weren't here. You weren't here. You weren't here. Like, what's going on?
You're missing work, all that shit.
Yeah, you all of a sudden, I couldn't stop. And I was lying. And I was stealing. And I was doing things that I was just like, huh. And it was really
Were you with your lady then too?
Yeah. And it was a wild moment, and it was like a really crazy time. And it was, you know, I remember I showed up to work, and I had a visiting chef in town, and I was showing him a good time. I was the guy that would show everybody a good time. If you were coming to Toronto, I'm your party guy. I'm the host. I'm the host. I would take you and like get you lit. And I had a friend visiting from England, and we were out getting fucked up. And I showed up at Parts and Labor, And it was like mid-service. It was just like service was going. I'm the chef. I'm not there. I'm taking my friend out. And I wasn't like an owner then. I was just like the face of the restaurant. And I was the chef. And, my name was bigger than what, kind of thing or whatever. I was just the face of the thing. Ego, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have to show up. I didn't have to do whatever. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. And I showed up and some of the partners were sitting at one of the chef's tables. So the parts of labor, we had like 3 tables in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And some of the partners were there, and it was crazy. It was like a crazy moment where I thought I was like flexing, and I was just like, they were just like, what do you think? It's Friday night. You're not here. You're hammered. Like, this ain't it. Like, we all party. Me and my partners, like, we all party, but like, this ain't it. What's happening here? Like, you're taking advantage, Yeah. You're taking advantage. And just like,
You felt it, man.
Yeah, it was like one of those moments where I was just like, huh. And then, ego and everything else. I was just like, yo, this is like my world, bro. This is my food. Chefs, what's up? All chefs, what's up, chef? I was like, these are my dogs. This is my room. This is my shit. And I just like walked into the dining room. I was like, everyone having a good time tonight? Like, like just being like, what's good? Everyone's like, yeah, like fucking, yeah. And then I turned around to the owners. I was like, what you want?
Yeah.
What's good? You're going to fire me?
Damn.
And they're just like, you're done. And I was just like, nah, ain't it. And I like went into the dish pit and started like doing coke and then it was just like, I was just like, it's just Friday night, fuckers. Like, this is my world. Straight up.
Wow.
Like, that's where my head was at,
Yeah.
And next day, Ricky called me, and he's just like, you're done. Let's get a coffee, and we could talk it through. We love you. You're done.
Holy shit.
And I was just like, okay. And he grabbed me. And, it was like one of those things. I'm just going to talk my way out of it. Okay. I won't,
Negotiate.
I'll be there. Negotiate. I'll be there. I've been in the principal's chair my whole life, sitting across from the principal. I've been being like, no, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I got this fine. Like, yeah, man. No, I won't do that again.
Yeah.
And I'll steal your drugs and make you look for it. Like, it's just like, but it is like one of those things. Like, and Ricky grabbed me, and then we pull up to Hambone's house. And I was just like, oh, we're doing an intervention, huh? I was like, let's see how this goes, fuckers. I was like, I did coke with you 3 days ago. And I didn't show up for work like once. And now, start gaslighting all these fools.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's see what you guys got. And it was Wade. It was Benny. It was Hambone. It was Ricky. 4. And I walked in. I was like, what's good? I love all those dudes still to this day. Some of them I talk to, some of them I don't, but I love them.
Yeah.
They still got a big place in my heart, all of them. And that was it. Like,
it worked. You listened.
It's the miracle. And we sat there, and I had three people that I loved and truly respected. We talked. And the thing is like, it was like one of these moments too. And I've said this before. It's just like, I was just like, yo, like, where's Trish? Kind of thing. I was like, is like, and they're like, she's good. It's up to you now. She ain't got nothing else. What else is she gonna say? What else? She ain't got nothing left.
Yeah.
And I was just like, huh.
What a ride or die. What a rock, man. Your lady, man.
Dude, she's strong. She's strong.
Seen all
She's
the different
hard-bodied.
versions of you. Yeah, man.
And now that's it. Now I just get to, I'm doing everything for her and my kids. Like, it is like my deal's till I die. Like, I'm hers.
Yeah. Was that 2013?
Yeah, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
it was 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years. This past November 12th.
Yeah.
And the next day I went to a meeting, and like, it was a wrap. It was just like, I felt the miracle. I got the goosebumps. I got the, the fear. The fear was a different fear than I ever felt in my life. Like, that's the thing, is like all this stuff and all this like talking about fighting and bullshit and all this weak ass shit, really. And it's just like you sitting in a room with a bunch of individuals you don't know, that don't know who the fuck you are. It's all you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You going to stand up and hug that giant fool over there telling you there's any fucking people that need to fucking hug?
Yeah.
You guys stand up with a bunch of fucking people you don't know and go hug this guy? What?
Tell your story, yeah.
You know, like it is like one of those things.
Was it really hard for you?
I wasn't able to tell my story. I just listened. And it was like one of those moments where it's just like, just think, I'm a chef. No one really can say no to me. I became a chef at 26.
Yeah.
So I had like three years, even more, because it's just like I went hard. Like I got sober at 31. So there was like a year and a half after my heart attack where I went like ballistic.
Yeah.
In like full dark zone. And it was like no one could say no to it. That's the thing that I think is horrible. And that's the thing that I isn't the case at any of my restaurants now. And everything is a conversation. Everything is a collaboration. Everything is like, you know, it is like, you know, I learned what not to do for a long time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't right. And it's kind of, it is easy to fix it, but it ain't, you know, like it takes time to like move a ship that is so stuck in its ways. And it's just like little degrees, you know, one little pebble can make a lot of ripples. Yeah. And consistency. And like, you know, like that was the thing is like, they're like, as long as you go to meetings, you can have your job. And I went to a meeting every day for a year almost. Like it was crazy.
Was it really hard to kick everything?
I kept smoking. Like the one thing, I kept one little baby toe in. So the smoking was cool. Everyone's outside, you get smoking and all that shit. But it's still crazy. Like it took me a long time to even stop. Like, you know, it was I'm like, I feel like an anomaly, but it was just like, I went to my first meeting and I was spiritually done. And that I was at a spiritual rock bottom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know, like I owed a lot of money when I got sober. Like that was my biggest thing. Is like my whole plan of how I've gone to here is like I've been planning this for 9 years. It took me 9 years to get here.
Yeah.
And that plan has been not necessarily the same plan, but the plan was to get here somehow. Yeah. And it is like one of those things where it's just like the first thing I got to do is stay clean. The second thing I got to do is reciprocate some love and understand my part in every single situation I'm in. And then I need to become financially stable.
Yeah.
How do I get financially stable? I owe $36,000 to drug dealers, to friends, to people. How do I pay that back? How do I do this? How do I do that? Hey, Trish, I can't borrow any more money from you. You know, I'm not trying to do that, but let's figure this out. I'm down. You down? Let's leave renting a house and move into a 1-bedroom apartment. And I'm going to show you a financial plan that I'm going to put together, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get debt free in 1 year. Will you move into a 1-bedroom apartment that's the size of this kitchen? And we're going to move in there, and it's $900. I found it. And we're going to move in there for 1 year. I'm going to change our lives. If you give me that,
goosebumps is crazy, man.
And if we do that, we going.
Yeah.
And because the next step is once I become financially stable, I'm going to leave all my jobs. And I'm going to be just me. And then I'm going to fucking go. And that's what we're going to do.
Damn, bro.
And then all of a sudden, I've done all of those things.
You have, dude.
And now...
The doors started opening up and stuff when you were sober?
Well, it was like one of those things. It was just like... It was right when I first started doing like Vice stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started doing Vice stuff. And then I called them because I was just like, yo, like... Those are all my dudes that I used to get fucked up with too. Yeah. And then I called them further. I was like, yo, I'm like sober now.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was like, am I still cool? Can I still make stuff with you? Like, what's good? And they're like, we love you. Do whatever you need to do. Like, let's go. And so then all of a sudden those things started happening where like the first time I ever did my cheeseburger video, I made $500. Damn. It was the first time I ever made $500. If I made $500, that's like 3, 4, 5 days of work in a kitchen. Yeah. You know, back in the day, like I remember, like when I was 20, like the first job I ever was when I was a chef. The first job I was making $25,000 a year. That's what I was making as a chef.
Yeah.
It was like there was no money. I was young and dumb, and it was great, but it still was just like this crazy thing. And then like that's the thing is like I really understood what control was. Yeah. And what I needed to be fully in control of my entire life to make decisions. Because I can't make any decisions because my decisions are reflective of what I need to do with other people. So I needed to become completely free of anybody.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful because like, you know, just hearing this story, like, you know, sitting down with your wife and telling her that plan. Yeah. I think what this is something that anybody could take. I think what you probably realize is like universally you had it. You had it because you envisioned it, obviously, to say with that strength of confidence, like universally you had it. And then, coming to the reality, the physical side of it, you actually, took the steps to do so and didn't let distractions get in your way. So you combined like the universally having it to like embody it and like, move forward with it and make it actually happen. And I think, like I said, when it comes to like people could take this anywhere, because a lot of times when people want to do something in their mind, sometimes they're like, a little iffy about it.
Totally.
If you really think about it, a lot of people are iffy about this. Like, they question that, but like you said it, even just you saying it right here, like you said it with no questions. No, like the one thing in your mind was that in a year,
it's do or die though.
You made it that. Like people got to realize like that's how you do that. The thing you want in life, that's how you do that.
Yeah, do it yourself, man.
And the thing too is like, it ain't glamorous.
It's not.
And it's just like the thing too is my mentality was like I've been poor my whole life. I got this.
Yeah,
I got this.
Yeah.
If I just do this for one, if I'm not greedy and let this new money, which was like $500, like this new money was like me making content. And this new thing was like, oh, I can make like $1,000. I can make $1,200. I can make $2,500.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it became this thing. And then, I still remember I took a screenshot of my bank account. So then the next thing was crazy. So I paid it off, right? I paid off like $36,000. Then my next true step was I was like, Trish, what's 1 year of bills? I want to be 1 year financially stable. And I was like, what's our bills? What's our thing? What's this? What's that? What's everything? Like, what's my half?
Yeah.
And so then I had to save up around like $50,000. So then that was my true financial freedom because I had 1 year to figure out how to do everything else.
Yeah.
So then it was a 2-year program that I was on to set myself free into a place where I could make decisions. I could make a decision on who I fuck with. I could make a decision what I do. I could make a decision if I'm going to do a whole new career of make content and what is content and what is this and what is that. And it's just like, still to this day, first podcast I ever did in my life, Shop.
Oh yeah,
that was the very first podcast I ever did in my whole life, and I was in LA. One of the first times going to LA as like not like some punk kid, but like as like somebody trying to figure out stuff and having meetings and having like things.
You weren't there then, right?
And I was like I was gonna do like Fighter and the Kid, and I was just like I don't know what podcasts are. I don't know any of this shit.
Yeah.
And I went and I did it, and that was the very first time I ever did a podcast in my life. And it was just Brandon. Colin wasn't there. But I think it was just like one of those things where it's a crazy thing. But the beginning and still the last 9 years, I've been very consistent. I go to work every day. It's not like it's I don't do Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I don't do office hours. I don't do fucking fuck all. I got all these things going. I work on them all the time, all the day, every day, every day.
Because why not?
Not because why not. I'm sure I could figure out how to do it just like Monday to Friday and turn it off and all that kind of stuff.
You're the one that's going to get things done for yourself and what you're doing, though.
Well, I'm the one that's throwing coal in the fire and throwing everything in and like creative directing stuff and like thinking about stuff and like doing all this stuff where I have a beautiful, like the amount of people that trust me.
Yeah.
The amount of people that are in my world and our world that I've created with like, my restaurant world is wild. My restaurant, we got like 150, maybe over 150 employees, and it's just like it's just a lot of jobs, which is like the coolest thing, to be honest. But it is like I don't even know, like it is like one of those things where I'm like, now I'm having these things about like, like high level strategy meetings with like really crazy people about like how to take things and like move things and make things and do this stuff. I'm like, crazy, man.
You branded
and I'm
yourself.
Just like, well, it's
pretty crazy, man.
I'm fucking. Yeah, but that's the thing is this, like, a lot of people are like, you're just turning yourself into, like, fucking Walmart. And I'm like, nah, I ain't changed I'm Matty. I ain't got no boss.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if you fuck with me, buy one of these things. If you don't, cool. I think that I'm filling a lot of holes and things that people like. The thing is like, even like with Rosa Vergoza, our workwear stuff. And I'm just like, yo, people are tripping out that it's like expensive. And I'm just like, okay, it's a $100 and whatever. I don't even know what it is in America, but it's just like, $180 shirt,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, we built the factory. We went out and built a factory. We started. We bought sewing machines and we put them in a room and we put up shelving and we bought a big table that you can cut. We hand cut our fucking patterns.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out how to hire sewers or sewists, and we had to figure out things. I'm like, that's work.
Totally.
Work is different. Workwear ain't just moving fucking cinder blocks.
No.
It is, but it's different. And I think
Yeah.
Rosa Vergoza is a dream. And it's a perfect representation of what dreams can be or not. During the pandemic, we were going to get all of Rosa Vergoza. We were just going to be a brand, right? You're going to be a brand. Factory closes during the pandemic. They tell Ray, our designer and partner, hey, I don't even use the machines we were going to use in the factory to do your shit, this triple stitch and all this stuff. They're like, all this stuff is actually from an original Levi's factory. And they're just like, we'll sell you all the equipment you need for $25,000.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, let's figure that out. Let's buy that. Ray, can we start a factory? Questions. Just asking. Can we? Why not?
Yeah.
I ask why not a lot.
Yeah.
Why not? Why can't we do that? What's going on with that? Like, what the fuck is up with that? Why can't we figure that out?
Yeah.
We can figure out anything. We got a really good couple people around me now. And it's just like, we can figure things out. And it's this thing is like Rosa Vergoza's two businesses. The factory, we call it Factory of Roses. So the Factory of Roses is a thing. We created that.
Yeah.
That in itself is what Rosa Vergoza is about. Not allowing a fucking global pandemic to stop us from doing what we wanted to do and what we think makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for us to make something in Parkdale, we're paying Parkdale rent. This isn't in like the suburbs.
Yeah.
This is in the neighborhood. This is where my kid Mac was born, a block from here.
Wow.
Like this is where I fucking lived and died. Like this is our shit, and that's what we wanted. And it's just
Beautiful,
like,
man.
and it's just like we figured that out.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Like that's like some Ian Mackay shit.
Yeah, dude.
Like this with Discord.
Discord
and, like,
across the street from the Discord house is like,
you know what I mean? Like
it's super
that's
DIY.
Exactly,
It
that's exactly
is.
what it like,
Literally.
Yeah.
It's super punk ethics. It's super DIY, and also like you embody the PMA, like what the mind can't conceive and believe it can achieve, because you always believed in yourself and you kept thriving through everything, even when you weren't sober.
Yeah,
It's incredible, man.
I mean, that's
Always
like,
not afraid to jump.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, people like. I mean, it is a bummer that it is a rarity for people to even understand that, because I know so many people want to do so many things in life. People really want to have and like do these things, like, because you hear it all the time, and like even with being a comedian out here, I see so many people that I'm like, man, that motherfucker's talented, but it's like I see anything and everything that's like holding them back.
Yeah.
From what they're what they're trying to do. And the fact that you were able to clear all that and just go, all right, this is
And
the
get sober, man.
and get sober and like like yeah, I mean that's a fucking.
But that's the thing,
that's
is
an
like
amazing story.
Not a lot of people texting me to hang out. I've given up a lot of friendships. I've given up. I don't have the bandwidth to be. I love my friends, but I talk to like 5 people in my life.
Yeah,
but
That's fine,
but I've chosen
That's
that.
fine.
But that's the thing.
You got a family,
It is,
bro.
it's like, no, I know, but it is still this thing where I'm still like, it is, it's about consistency. It's about like just I'm like 100% focused on taking care of my family
Yeah.
via work.
Wait,
Yeah.
so
You know?
when you say cleared out, like or friendships, or is that
'Cause
due
it's
to like it
sobriety?
didn't align?
Well, no,
Things weren't
it was just
aligned.
like, when you first get is people, places, things, so it's just like a lot of my friends still drink and party. So
Yeah.
I didn't go into a bar. Like I probably never even walked into a bar for like 5 years. Like I've never been, I haven't been in a strip club in 9 years. I haven't been, like there's things that like, it's just things that I'm just like, I don't fuck with. Like going to Las Vegas and like walking into a casino, like kills me. Not that I'm a big gambler or anything, but it's just like that world isn't my world.
Yeah,
And I don't like
Yeah.
going into different worlds now that like affect me that way, where I'm just like, that's just like, what is this? You see people just losing You know, I don't like seeing people losing. I like seeing people winning. I like being around people that are like truly winning. Even winning 30 racks, 10 racks, $500, $3. It ain't really winning being in that situation. So it's just like, I think, like, I really want people to, like, the thing too is, like, I've been doing this for a long time, you know, like, you know, I've been making content for over 10 years now. And it's just like with books and everything. But it's just like, even like just in the last year and a half, the pandemic is what changed it too. So like my whole life up until the pandemic, I was only playing defense. I was only playing half the game. So like a lot of people don't even understand that there's like offense. I wasn't even playing. I didn't even know offense existed. I thought I was on a whole wave. I was traveling the world. I was traveling the world. I was getting book deals. I was getting TV. I didn't even have to pitch Vice. Like Vice is like, yo, we're launching Viceland. What's your show? You know, like, what's your show? And I'm like, oh, I want to do like Dead Set on Life. It's like I got tattooed on it and all this bullshit. And I'm like, got to travel the world and do all this shit and whatever. Like I never had to make a deck and like pitch the show. It was just like the homies and my shit like worked.
They really believed in you though.
Yeah.
Man,
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Like before you got sober, do you feel like you had somewhat of clarity? And then when you got sober, like all that clarity just seemed to just really open.
Dude, I was when
you know, because there's, I mean, I think still at the same time, like, you know, you probably had some sense of clarity. It seems like it based off, you know, this conversation. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like you had some sense of clarity that, you know, this is the, you know, there's these things that I got to do and should do or whatever, blah blah blah. Like, or you know, a world to attack.
The thing is like, I saw that I could create restaurants.
Yep.
That's create
successfully.
Yes and no. Winning's losing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about fucking fugazi? You want to talk about the biggest fugazi of all time? Restaurants.
I heard it's brutal, man.
Dude. It's beyond brutal. It's heartbreaking. Okay. It's an endless pit of. It's crazy, but it is a beautiful thing. But it is, you know, like. All of these things and all this stuff, it's just like, I think the thing is like, I just always wanted to be the boss, I guess. Right? And so like, just that mentality of wanting to be on top and wanting to be, not the best, not like any of that kind of stuff and be like, I want to be number one. I never was concerned about being number one. I wanted to be myself in my vibe, in my world, in my lane, and just be at the top of that. And I just wanted to be on the top. There could be other people on top with me. Yeah. I just wanted to be like at a place where I'm like, I don't got to ask anybody a question. I can ask people what they think. But I don't want to ask like, oh, I need time off. I need this. I need that. I just wanted to be able to figure out how to like live my life in a way. So it's just like, I'm always figuring that out. And also like, I'm a crazy person also. So like I don't watch TV. I don't watch, every single moment is spent. Like if I'm in a hotel room, I sit in my hotel room and I think and I read. And I do things. And I'm like, I listen to ambient music. And I just figure things out and I problem solve constantly. I'm doing this. I'm doing this in the next 2 weeks. I'm doing this in the next 3 weeks. I'm doing this tomorrow. I visualize constantly. And I'm having those negotiations constantly in my head. How am I going to get this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to get here? How am I going to figure this out? All day, every day.
Wow.
You know, every day I visualize. Before I go to bed, I visualize what the next day is going to be. I visualize everything.
Is it hard for you to sleep at night?
No, I sleep like a baby.
Okay.
Yeah. I go to bed.
You shut it off, yeah.
Dude, because every day I'm setting myself up and I understand what I'm doing. And I make these notes and I do these things and I do all this stuff. And then I'm like, I'm good. I'm prepared. Let's go to bed. And I go to bed, you know, probably jerk off and then go to bed. But that, you know, like just like, I'm just like road dog shit. Just like, okay. Squeeze one out. There we go. Thank you. Good night.
This stuff.
Wake up at 6.
I want to give you flowers a little bit because you've done so much since you've been sober. Obviously started with the Munchies and Vice Media, and then it's Supper Time, then Dead Set on Life, and then you dropped a cookbook, and then you helped with Make Your Pizza in Toronto. Dropped another fucking cookbook. Keep It Canada. The Burger Show. Working Moms. Just a Dash, and then you Benny Blanco. Eat Out America. Homestyle cooking. There's so much shit, man. Then your podcast with Alex Two-Tone from Born and Raised, Powerful Truth Angels. You did pop-ups during the pandemic. Matty Matheson meat +3. Another cookbook. Matty's Patty pop-up. So much shit, man. It's crazy. We got signed to Endeavor. And then what's that shit? The Barria Balam, the Mexican pop-up thing?
Oh, Fonda Balam?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fonda Balam is we started a birria pop-up with Julio and Kate. And then we just, now they got their restaurant, Fonda Balam. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
And then The Bear on Hulu, which is fucking amazing because I love Shameless. So Jeremy White, I'm a big fan of. And it's got like a really like Uncut Gems vibe. It's like really, really fast.
Yeah.
It's intense. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's incredible. And did you produce some stuff on that too, or are you just a guest on there?
No, we produced.
You
Yeah.
did
So
too.
I was
Yeah,
brought
yeah.
on as a consulting producer.
So cool, man.
Yeah, I was brought on as a consulting producer, and then I was consulting on the pilot, and then for the series, I was a co-producer. Now season 2, I'll be an executive producer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's fast. It moves. I love
thank
it, man.
you.
I love where it's based off. And then you open up a Seafood Palace too. Is that true?
Prime Seafood Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, here's a question. Would you ever do a vegan thing? Do you fuck with vegan shit?
I fuck with the thing.
Because you do everything, but
I think what I would do.
could you make the best vegan burger?
I don't know if I could. Honestly, I honestly don't think I could, and I don't think
Wow.
I need to.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think
You do your own thing,
but I
yeah.
think having Blue Goose Farms is like vegetables.
Okay, yeah.
Vegetables have become a massive part of my life, and you
Yeah, you
I
health
think
conscious?
not particularly.
Yeah.
I am like I am sure.
Since
So
all that, yeah.
yeah, like sure, I'm still like overweight and whatever.
Put
Like
more greens in your life.
yeah, I eat a lot of greens.
Yeah.
You know, like I do eat a lot of greens. I eat a lot of vegetables. Like I'm very lucky to be partners with Keenan and what Keenan and Miles are doing at Blue Goose is like,
Yeah.
it's wild. They're growing the most beautiful, profound vegetables. It's really something.
And you got a stupid fuckery cooking show.
Stupid fucking
Cooking something with Matty Matheson. And you have cooking utensils out. You have stuff people could buy for their kitchen.
Yeah, we design all that stuff. Like we design. That's the thing is like we don't take the short road either. Like Matheson Cookware is like we design everything. We have to fabricate everything. We have to find people that can make the things up to our standards. And like there's I'm trying to really build like real same as Rosa Vergoza. Like that shit lasts. That stuff's
Doing
real.
quality. Yeah.
Like I'm trying to make stuff where everyone's just like, okay, I could have just put my name on shit and sold it at Target.
Yeah.
Sure. Is that what you really want? Okay, I'm sorry, but that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want to kind of stick around in the mud for a bit, flap around, make some shit happen.
Yeah.
And then maybe something happens. I'm down to like grind it out. I'm down to like be riddled with anxieties all day about 1 million things. I can handle that.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of weirdly thrive.
Yeah.
You know, in my little addict body. You know, like it is like one of those things where I'm like, I can handle 20 balls in the air. I have a beautiful little team around me that like are able to like logistically make everyone works. Like everyone works.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like every hour in my workday, I work on something else.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm problem solving, I'm making decisions, I'm creating, I'm doing whatever I'm doing on all of these things every single day. Like after this, I have 4 hours of meetings.
Wow.
You know, and I just go in and it's 4 different businesses that I'm working on. And it's just like today I'm working on like I got a meeting about like I'm working on designing like the kitchen. I'm working on with the bear. I have a thing where I'm like doing a new intro to some book. I'm like, you know, like it's just like all these things, and you just like fill up all you. Everyone does like that's the thing. I'm like everyone is. I had this partner, and every time like you know I hate when people are like I'm busy. Everyone's busy.
Everyone's busy.
Everyone is busy.
It's so
and
true,
it's so
man.
like belittling to be like, oh, you're busy. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm busy. I'm not asking you because you're busy. I'm not asking you because I think that you're not busy.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you to be a part of something, or we're doing something, or like these people, like they're always just like, you know, or people that try to get off the phone really fast. I'm always like, oh, you're busy. He's like, I gotta go. I'm like, oh, you gotta go. Like I got this one buddy, he's always like getting off the phone so fast. I'm like, the way you get off the phone is so rude. It's so crazy. You can just say like goodbye. Like every time you get off the phone, you don't have to act.
Yeah.
I'm okay with you ending the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to be like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of those things. It's just like even me, like I'm like, I try to have a buffer, but I'm having a nice time. We could talk for like literally another 30 minutes because I'm like at my 12 o'clock, it's just a Zoom thing and I can be in my car. Okay. But it's just like,
I don't feel
we're
like
in no rush.
Okay, good.
We're in no rush.
Okay.
So it's just like, but it's all this shit is so crazy to me because it is like one of those things where I'm just like, if one of these things goes, not even like that's the thing is like I'm building up these like amazing things, but I'm like if one of these motherfuckers pops, actually, like they're all steady, like they're all like I'm very lucky once again to like work with people that trust me and that I trust, and like the people that I'm around with. Brian and Key at Matheson Cookware design the cast iron pans and the pepper mills and the fucking cutting boards and all these things and the linens, all that stuff is like I opened my first restaurant with those guys. Like I've known them for 15 years. They design like amazing stuff. Like they design all this stuff, Houseplant, like Seth Rogen shit. Like all that crazy houseplant shit. They design all that stuff. So those dudes are like, they design a lot of really, really cool shit. And that stuff is all really made really well. They have amazing producers all over the world. And like that's the thing that's exciting to me. It's making something that's like, my cast iron pan won like a design award like for the Zur in like Italy, like stuff like that where you're like, people don't know that, like my fans don't care about that kind of shit. They just want to see me like take my shirt off and like fucking throw spaghetti on my belly, which is okay because I play that too, like that's the thing is like I'm okay putting on the chicken suit and going outside and spinning the sign, and I'm also able to like build out like little fucking things that are actually like thoughtful and sweet. Like even like Prime Seafood Palace is like, that is my like crown jewel in all of this, because I'm like, this, when people walk in there and I dress like this and I'm walking around being me and they're like, so this is like your spot. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, this is so different than like Maddie's Patties and like, like all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, this ain't cheeseburgers and fries. This, like Prime Seafood Palace, it's crazy. We started that so long ago before the pandemic. That was supposed to be my only restaurant. Like that was going to be like my little thing, because the thing too is like, you can understand this is I went so deep into content and TV stuff and books and me. It was just like Maddie World, playing the defense thing, just defense. I was just getting deals, flying around. Hey, come here. Hey, do this. Hey, do this. I need you to like go on stage with like Big Boy and make a lobster roll at outside, like just things. And you're just like, oh yeah, things. Cool. You get money. You get the bag. Get the bag. That's just defense. That ain't shit. Pandemic hits and I got nothing. I have no income. I got a bank account. That bank account, my burn rate's high. And I'm just like, and that's just because I got like, I take care of family. I like got a whole bunch of things. And I'm just like, how can I not generate money? And then that's when it switched. And I was just like, the restaurant, I had one restaurant. But the thing is like, what was one thing that I could completely control? I can literally go to a stove right now and cook something, and I could sell it on the fucking sidewalk. That's a fact. I could do that. Maybe I get shut down police. Maybe I do whatever. I guarantee I could take stuff in your house right now, cook something, go on that sidewalk and sell it, make a couple $100. I guarantee I can do that. And so I did that. And I did that with Meat and Three. And the craziest thing is I partnered with these guys, amazing people, Brad and Bob. And there are these people in my small town, and they own some buildings, they own some things, they own a barbecue distribution company. And I hit them up. And I was just like, yo, can I cook some barbecue? And like, can we cook some barbecue and sell it out of your parking lot? And they're like, yeah? I was just like, I think, like, I didn't tell them, like, I was just like, I need to do something. But I was just like, I need to do something. And all of a sudden, we did this thing, and we pre-sold 1,000 barbecue orders.
Wow.
So they had all the equipment. During the pandemic. It was like middle. It was middle of the pandemic when people kind of started traveling again. Canada was very different than the States. Like Canada had over 400 days of lockdown. So it was just like, It was heavy. And like when we set up the pop-up, it was great. It was like Chernobyl. We had like it was literally the stuff that was going on. Like we had like barricades and we had It was this crazy system we set up. And we had 10 people every 10 minutes, or 25, was it 25 people, 25 packages every 10 minutes for 7 hours straight.
Wow, man.
And so we set up this system, and we set up this fucking app, and we set up all this stuff within like 3 weeks.
Damn.
And we did like $100,000.
Wow.
And then we did it again. And then we did it again. And then we did it again. And then I took that, and then I opened up Maddie's Patties. And then I took that, and I did that. And boom, 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 boom.
So smart, man.
I own 50% of everything.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I own majority. Well, not majority, but
so how many spots you have right now? You think? Do you know off the top?
Like not including Maker Pizzas, because Maker Pizzas is a side. I was just a consultant helping out Shlow.
Yeah.
So Shlomo is my homie. I helped him out, and then I own like a small percentage of that. But just my restaurants, they're 5. Yeah, 5 or 6.
Wow, man.
Yeah. Well, there's Rizzo's, Prime Seafood Palace, Manny's Patties, Cafe Rang, Fonda Blam. Yeah, 5.
5. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And you're only
Yeah.
40, man. You're still really young, man.
Right.
In reality, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a crazy ride, and it's just like, and that's just restaurants are just one business.
I know you do everything. I know, man.
I got 14. Yeah.
Plus on the TV stuff, everything.
No,
man.
that's like all in. It's like 14, 15 businesses. Restaurants is just one. So that's just one avenue. So I have 14 so that's during the pandemic. I went from playing defense. So now I started one business, which is restaurants.
Yeah.
And I added that, and then I created all these other things. So like Matheson Cookware, Rosa Ragosa, restaurants. That's 3 businesses, and then there's like the cookbook. It's crazy. I did
It's
this like
fucking crazy.
it's this like little world, and then I'm just like, this is what this is. And now I'm sitting back. It's like Minority Report. I got the big screens. I'm looking at stuff, and now I'm like weighing all these options, and I'm running them like with these people and like analytic stuff, and like being like, how do we consolidate all these businesses, and how do we do this, and how do we take these, and what are our top 5 earners, and then how do we focus on those, and how do we like. And now I'm just playing like Monopoly in my own business, and it's like this whole crazy thing, and it's like. It's a year, and it's only a year and a half in kind of thing. But it took 9 years to get here.
Yeah, totally.
And now I'm like, okay, what's the next 10 years? Figure this shit. Now it's like, how do you take these opening a business and being creative and doing these things? Relatively not easy, but relatively, I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
With the people around me now. And with the
Yeah.
trust, with being like a famous person, along with being like actually talented, where I can like sit down and plan out a restaurant and cook recipes and create and create culture and do things like that, where I'm like, and I can create branding packages and I can do all of these things where I can make a business right now. Like it's really like the steps of opening and starting a business is really kind of easy for me. And like I have like I have like a whole program where it's just like I have like almost 25 different restaurant concepts just on the bank that are ready to like go at any moment. Like if anybody comes and I'm having conversations with people and they're like, oh, I want to do something like this. Oh, I'm like, oh, right here's a full concept. And just like all that kind of stuff where I just sit there on my phone because I do everything. I don't even have a laptop. So it's just like, I just do everything like on my phone. So it's just like.
Do you see yourself slowing down in the future? Like,
yeah. I got a 5-year plan. Like I'm working on like a real 5-year plan right now.
Legit.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just want to get to a place where I'm like, in 5 years, I'm just like painting and working on motorcycles and like hanging at the farm.
Yeah.
And then like, I think we can, in 5 years, I think I can get there with the things that I want to do. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because now it's like a whole other thing. Like with the bear opens up things, and now I'm like working on like 3 different show ideas and working on stuff like that. And like now my agents actually care about me for some reason. And like it's all these things, and it's just like, it's a really interesting world, this LA shit, right? Because I'm like, the thing too is like, guys, I'm doing all this from like a farm town.
I know. You didn't even go to college for any of this stuff. Just like,
it's just like street shit.
It really is, man.
It's just like straight street shit. Like it's just like,
and...
it's just like, good or bad. My parents, like it is like one of those things where it's just like, I got the same mentality as my pops, except I've hit more times.
Yeah.
That's the thing
is
like,
so proud of you, man.
I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I mean, this is crazy. Like, I'm just sitting here just like in awe.
But as soon as you went sober, too, like, would this, any of this
yeah.
stuff would happen if he wasn't sober?
Yeah.
It was all perfect.
Yeah.
The demise. And the thing is like, we've closed restaurants. I've lost. Losing. Like, dude, lose.
Yeah.
Lose a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Dude, I was down to fucking $5,000 in my bank account.
Yeah.
Wow.
2020. There's a saying that
like, like straight up, like anybody that think this is like something or like I was down to like literally like $5,000 in my bank account, straight up.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I took
3 kids.
3 kids and a fucking mortgage and a fucking and cars and like life and like everything.
Fuck.
Wow.
And that barbecue, literally, it saved my life. It's like
just
real,
an idea
real
you
talk.
had in your local town.
Like it's not like I'm like, oh, I had like a couple $100,000 in my bank. Nah. Like my accountant's like, you're done. Like we're good. Like what's Like what's good? Like we're done. Cash flow's gone. The bank, you're like empty. And I was just like, because I even took like the thing is, I took my last 10 grand and I started like the farm. I was like, well, if I'm going to be poor, if I'm broke, I better have some vegetables to eat. So I even bet on myself. I'm just ain't afraid to jump.
Yeah.
I'm dumb enough. Like I'm not. Like I ain't scared of that shit. I'm like, okay, we going to lose it all? Okay. Move back into the 1-bedroom apartment and start again.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
You always find a way to keep moving forward. Like
it doesn't stop. Like it is like, it's okay. You can lose. Losing is part of it.
That's how you know how to win.
It's crazy that everything you've done, all the stuff people seeing you online, on TV, and all that stuff, all that success, your social media presence, everything about you, and then
never did a sponsored post in my life.
Yeah, and then it gets to 2020, then you only have 5 G's left, and then you come up with this idea to do something in town to make barbecue. With this barbecue, you know what I'm saying?
I never made barbecue.
What's a sponsored post?
No, like people think like I bought like you bought like followers or all this shit or like whatever. It's just like
gotcha.
Yeah. But he did. But all that people think you're probably on this crazy high level, seeing you. You know what I'm saying? And then you hit 5 G's in 2020. That's a crazy reality. It's just like
it's real. It's like that's what the thing is like I don't know. I've closed restaurants before. It's okay. It's okay. I've lost businesses. It's okay.
Yeah.
You will get through it. You'll figure it out. And then like every time you as soon as you lose, what's your plan?
Yeah, you figure it out. Yeah.
That's it. That's all that happens.
Yeah.
Just lose it. Like it's just ego stuff. There's a lot, but also you lose it. What happens if you lose your house? You figure it out. There's literally always a plan. You may not like it.
There's always a plan.
But there is literally always a plan, and it's baby steps. Crawl, walk, run, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And I'm just like... took me 10 years to get here.
Yeah.
Took me 10 years to get here. And now I'm just like, now I got all this stuff. And everyone's like, this is crazy. This is all this stuff. I'm like, I've been working at this for 10 years. Just things are coming to fruit now, you know? And
it
it's
kicked
just
off
like,
during a pandemic, which is even more crazy, man.
It is crazy because it's just like, it still ain't even like a gold rush. It's just like we went to work.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just like, I still ain't got no money from any of this stuff. I've never taken a paycheck from my restaurants.
Wow.
I don't take no management fees. I don't take nothing. I keep it all in the business. So hopefully I can if something does break, I can fucking buy a stove or a fridge or anything.
Yeah.
Like it is like, it's a wild thing, restaurants. It's just like, I still have never taken a cent from one of those businesses.
It's crazy. And shout out to your wife, man, who's been here the whole fucking time and saw all the different
Yeah.
versions of you and all the different ideas. Yeah, I believe in you, honey. You got this. And you do these different things and try them. And
I don't know if she believed in me. I don't know. I think she's like,
she loves you.
She's just like, ah!
She loves you.
She's like, again? You're doing this? What are we doing
loves
here?
You unconditionally, though. I mean,
dude,
fuck, man.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like I'm just like, dude, this is for us. I was just like, yo, you went through it.
So you've always been an optimist.
I'm half full all day. I've always been a half full. World don't owe me shit.
Yeah.
I ain't here to think somebody owes me nothing. I never wanted anybody to owe me nothing.
It's obvious because of like your work ethic. Like you don't work off like thinking people just owe you just because.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand being like, you owe me this. It's just like, why would you be in a situation where somebody owes you something?
Yeah.
That's the thing that's twisted.
Yeah.
I don't even understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that never even was in my head.
Yeah.
I was just like,
it's a perfect fucking way to think.
Yeah,
in all aspects, not like in all aspects of.
Why should you ever be in a position that somebody owes you something?
Yeah,
never be in a position of that.
Yeah,
that's the wrong position.
Wrong position.
You tripping.
People don't owe you shit.
No, but it's just even like just
figure
out how to negotiate. Like it is like, and it's the thing too that's crazy is just like I remember my dad like last year he got me like never split the difference, like that like CIA like master manipulator negotiator terrorist guy like wrote a book about like never split the difference, like never leave half the deal on the table. I'm like, I don't read that shit. It's just like I was just like, it's all common sense. It's just like, you know, like it is just like I'm worth this. You want to do this? Okay. Let's figure out a deal where we both. And I'm always like, I want everyone to shine. I want everyone to have a good deal.
Yeah,
that's the thing too. Is like I always want everyone to be like, what's best for us? I can't do everything. You are really good at what you do.
Yeah,
and let's do it. That's why I only want to have half. Mm-hmm. You guys can have the other half. Run around, do whatever the fuck you're gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I believe in people doing it. But it's.
I love you being a small town where you grew up. I love that you're there. It's so cool.
Home base.
The people don't even trip on you there because you're just the guy that grew up there.
Well, they don't care. They all call me Matt, like Matt or Matheson. It's funny because everyone like when I moved to Toronto, everyone started calling me Matty, It's just like still just a funny thing. Like when you go home, everyone's just like, "What's up, Matheson?" Because everyone called B. Like my older brother was always Beeve, my younger brother's Grizz, and I was always like Matheson or Matt. Like it's so fun. I'm on a group chat. Like all my high school buddies still like everyone lives there. It's a small township. And we're on like this group thread. It's so fun. Like it's just so funny. Like when people like Matt, like people just still call me like Matt. Yeah. It's just like a funny thing when you're always just like. But that's the thing is like I think it's like that's part of it too, where it's just like, yo, you can't get caught up in the like you guys live here, where it's just like I'm not from here. This ain't my town.
Yeah,
shouldn't be. Don't need it to be. But I figured out how to it not to be my town.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to come and do what I want to do and like hang out, but like I ain't trying to do fancy ass shit.
Yeah.
Like even like last night, like I got to go to like the like Nick Kroll's thing he did last night.
Yeah.
And it was like real LA shit. I'm just like sitting there and I'm like Beck is on stage and then Tenacious D and then Io was there, fucking Ali Wong and like all these people doing this little thing in this at the Largo. And I'm just like, I don't do any, like, I'm like, I go to bed at 9:30, you know, like, I'm just like, I go to bed at 9:30, I go have coffee with one or two friends, and then I just do meetings out here and do stuff. And it's just like, I was just like, that was so crazy. I was like, people do stuff, huh? Yeah. Like, it's just like an interesting thing where I was just like, it's so crazy. I was just like, just Beck is walking on stage, just playing his guitar. I was just like, this like some weird.
Do you trip on like my life's kind of surreal? It's moments like that. You're like,
but I think everybody else is there, but it's just like, it's an interesting thing because it's just like Trish came here for the first time ever. She's never been to California. Okay. And it's her first, well, she'll be like, I came here when she was like a kid, but she's always like, I've been to California. And so I brought her out here for her 40th and I got to show her a little bit of my work. Like I was like, she never met like Two-Tone. She never met like people that were a big part of my life. Yeah. And like, this is my circle. I was like Benny and like John and Vinny and like Two-Tone and like people that are like my loves, you know, like I love these people. Yeah. And I was like, you should come out and like meet the people. I was like, this is a world that like, I was just like, cause I'm always just like, yo, like we could be out here. If you wanted to like figure something out, like we could. And she came out and she's like, yeah, it's cool out here. And it was funny. We went down to like Orange County. We hung out with like Pat. Ruka, and she was like, I was just like, we did like some days in Malibu, we did some LA shit, we went down to Orange County. I was like, she's like, well, Orange, she's like, I like Costa Mesa and like Huntington, like those are like really, I was just like, just like laughing at him, just like, don't tell people in LA that shit. Right. They're just gonna think you some Trump shit. Yeah, but I was just like, it was just like HB82, baby.
Dude, it's a different world in HB, man.
Dude,
it's such a different world.
Dude, I love HB, but it's just like, yeah, it's different down there because that's where all my motorcycle shit is. But it's just like,
did you see yourself living in California someday?
I don't know. Like that's the thing.
Or have that place here. Maybe
it's so funny. Like my kids have such like I'm like my kids go to elementary school and it's 5 minutes from the farm and like we have this whole little thing where it's just like, you know, it's like La La Land. Like it's actually La La Land. It's chill. You don't got to worry about shit. Like kids are just riding their bikes around in the field and going in the woods and fighting and doing shit and like
you did growing up, man.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. There are no it's just like there ain't no weapons and shit. Like there's no, you don't got to worry about nothing. Yeah. Like what are you gonna worry about? Yeah. Getting in a fist fight. That's what you're gonna worry about. I mean, you don't even do that. Like even like talking to my nephews. Like my nephews growing up in that town is so different than the way we grew up. Yeah. And they're just like. They're like, what do you mean? I was just like, yo, Fort Erie used to be buck. Like it was like Roadhouse. There's some bars in there that were like Roadhouse shit.
Roadhouse.
Straight up. Like for real. Like it was just like there'd just be like fights. Like you'd be like when I was growing up, like Ridgeway, I live in Ridgeway, and Fort Erie's like there's like Fort Erie, Ridgeway, Stevensville, and like Crystal Beach. All together, I think it's like 36,000 people. Wow. You know? And it's just like if you were at a bar and there was like a group of kids from like Ridgeway, which is 10 minutes away. It'd be like on. You'd be like, fuck Ridgeway. You know, like it would just be like small town hick shit. But it was just like, but now it's like, it doesn't even, like it's so funny where I'm like, everyone's just walking around wearing like jogging pants. You know, like it's just like, it's just like a funny ass thing where you're like, everyone's wearing like, it's just, it's
you have the most tats of anybody in the whole town probably.
I don't even know. Now everyone's got tats. Like it's just like, everyone's just like walking around and got shit. Like it's just like metal militia motherfuckers, you know? Like just like, whatever.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's
a specific type.
Is there something you want to do like on a bucket list that you want to achieve before you maybe retire someday? Like,
yeah, I want to make this shit successful.
Yeah.
That's my next thing. Everyone's like, what do you want? I'm like, I got it. I got it. I can't think of more. I can't think of anything else I want to do.
But more acting maybe too, right?
Acting's stressful. Producing is what makes me. I like making stuff.
Okay.
I like making restaurants. I like making. I like making the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I'm good at. That's what I'm really good. Acting is like I turned down a feature film the other day. Like it's just like it's
Wow.
It's it's just like it stresses me out. Why do something that's stressful? My life is so stressful already.
Mm-hmm.
Why do something that's like compounds that? And the time ain't worth the money to me. I look at everything in a very different way. I don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
I want to make money.
Okay.
It's very different.
Yeah.
That's why I don't live here. I don't want to get sucked into any fucking thing that's bullshit. I want to make money. I want to do the work. I want to make the work. I'm about the process. I'm about the fucking, that's it.
I love what he says process.
I love it.
Yeah, process.
I love it.
What do you got? Your process?
Process, yeah.
Yeah, process.
I'm switching it.
What do you do to relieve the stress you have? Like what are some things you do?
Like daily rituals.
Anything like that? You guys saw my list, son. Daily
No, I just know. I've done your podcast
I
so
know.
much that
Every morning I wake up and I put my earbuds in and I listen to like ambient shit and just kind of like not even meditate because I don't meditate. I'm not trying to act like I'm not some lie, but I just like listening and mellow and just start the day with a little bit of that. Because sometimes you can open up that email real quick and go spiral town.
Yeah.
And so I try not to start with a spiral. And I just try to start with 20 minutes of just laying there, wake up around like 6 a.m. every day. Drink usually like a big old glass of water every day. I'm a big water drinker.
Nice.
Love water.
Coffee head?
Not a coffee head. I enjoy coffee. I there's a quad shot latte. I'll smash a quaddy. Little 4x4.
I like you drink water in the morning. That's pretty awesome. There's a cup of
every
water.
morning, dude.
Yeah.
I'll drink like cup. Like I'll drink if it's a regular. I'll drink like 4 cups in a row. Just
Okay.
chug it. Just get the tank full.
Nice.
And then I just go to work. It's like I do like 9 to 5. If I'm in Toronto, I do 9 to 5 at the office. So I have my personal office. Go there, do everything, and then I usually go to one of the restaurants at nighttime from like 5 to 10.
Yeah.
So I'm just like 9 to 10 usually is like my work day in the city. And then when I'm traveling, it's a little more freed up, but I'm just out here trying to do like meetings and do stuff like that. And then see friends and like try to find like a little more time to like reconnect and kind of build just like some shit out here.
How far is Toronto from you?
Like hour and a half, no traffic, 2 with traffic.
Yeah.
But I live in the city. I live in the city Monday to like I only see the kids. I only see the family on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're working the whole time. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you have a place you stay there too in
Yeah.
Toronto.
don't forget to bring up Freddy.
Oh yeah, we do that right now.
We got
Yeah. So before the podcast started, I told Freddie I was going to have you on. He's like, oh, I love him, and he's like, just let him know that Rusty Pistachio is the king in hardcore as far as coffee connoisseur, but Freddy Madball is the OG foodie.
Yeah.
He's a big foodie.
It's true.
Everywhere he goes, he's always looking for the best restaurants, the best quality food. He's reading all about it. So yeah, you want to give you can give you a big shout out.
Dude, Freddie, I still remember the first time he came to the restaurant. It was such a trip. And it's the thing about food is such an amazing way of really meeting people.
Yes.
Giving somebody a good meal, especially a touring band, is like an incredible thing.
Yes.
And I've had an amazing life meeting really amazing artists and people, just people through food, where I'm like, I'm here trying to give you something.
Yeah.
You know, I think Freddie and, that relationship, obviously shout out to Ben for bringing it when Ben was drumming for them.
Yes.
That's how that connect came through. Shout out to old Ben Dussault. It's just crazy. Like, it's just like, I still remember like doing fucking Hoya's, the spoken word pod in the van, in the Madball van in Toronto. And I'm just like, it's just like, but that's the thing. It's just
I
like,
love that shit.
That's
man.
what it is, man.
Yeah.
And that's like, Freddie, like, I wonder what the last text message, let me see. It's me and him, just like, it's not even like, you think you're going to meet like your like heroes. Then you meet your heroes and you're like, oh, we're just talking about like smoking pork butts. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a funny ass thing. Like, if you would have told me, like,
we texted with Freddy Madball about that.
What does he say? He's just telling me the bear's tight.
Which it is.
Look. I love. He's like, still cooking. Ran out of some carrots. I love that shit. He's like, lots of garlic and thyme. Can't wait to eat your food again. Like, it's just like me and Freddie are just talking about like food the whole time.
It's awesome.
He's like, yo, I was cooking the roast. Thought of you, man. It's so good. Like, everything is just like, oh, dude, what's up? And he's just like, dude, what's this?
My friend has a slogan, Chef Tall Crossroads. Shout him out. Like, world peace starts in the kitchen. Like how it just brings people together. Food, just really good food and conversations.
Mm-hmm. But that's it. It's just
you know
like,
what I mean?
all the cliches are real.
Yeah.
You give two people that hate each other a good meal, something's gonna come from it. You know, and even like, and you give people that like, it's just a respect thing too. It's like, it is one of those things where like, I love welcoming people in. I love it.
Yeah.
And to be able to like feed people, it's the same as fucking. Except I can't fuck everybody, but I can feed people. But that's the thing is like, and if it's good, they come back. And it's just like, and that's just like that respect. Like it is like one of those things where I think it's like, I don't know, like it is one of those things. It's just, it's a beautiful, powerful thing. You feed somebody a good meal, they'll remember it. They won't remember exactly what it was, or they won't remember exactly what it looked like, but it's just like, they'll remember you gave them something good. Yeah. And it's nourishing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. Food, shelter. It's like essential shit. Yeah. And it's just like you get tapped in. And it's just like, that's the thing is like one of the things is like I'm tapped into a thing where I make people laugh through food. So those are two things that are kind of unforgettable. True. Where it's just like if you can make somebody laugh, they'll love you forever. Mm-hmm. If you feed them and make them laugh, it's crazy. Yeah. And it's just like that's what's given me everything. Yeah. Like the power of that is like has given me my entire life. And then I just haven't given up on like the amount of work and responsibility it is to get to where I want to be with that. Yeah. And like that's the thing. It's just like I've always made people laugh. Like from day one, I was like the sweaty fucking kid chirping a teacher, making fun of somebody, making fun of it, like, you know, not some bully shit, but like I was always like the one making fun of things. Yeah. Always. Yeah. You know? And then you know, on top of that, now I teach people how to cook. So cool. And then the amount of people that are, like, it's a crazy thing. Like, I put up cooking videos every fucking week. Yeah. People have been cooking food for like 10 years of my shit. Yeah. It's like crazy. And now it's incredible, it's man. It's a crazy thing. It's like, it is, I don't know. It just, it's wild. Well,
I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your story, your journey, man. It's fucking super inspiring,
I
man.
appreciate it a lot. Yeah,
it's wonderful, man. I'm glad I locked you down. We've been talking about this for a while, man.
Dude,
so, I really
I still remember when we were at Crossroads that one time. We're at Crossroads and we're running around, and just like I love LA shit. Like I'm still such a geek because I'm still such an outsider. And it's like BJ Novak was in the building, just like eating, and I was just like, damn, BJ Novak's over there. I'm just like. It was like me and you and like Atiba. We were getting you're like, you got to try this burger. It's the best burger. It's the best burger.
First came out.
Yeah,
he was there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was before all that shit.
I get that burger every time I go there. I get that burger.
But that was the thing. That was like that moment, and like you're like, and then it's just like a crazy ass thing. It was like me, you, Atiba, and then I was just like sitting there eating. I was just like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's like cheeseburger's better. I'm like, the beef is for me. I don't know if it's better, but it's like I enjoy it more, you know. And I'm just like, yeah, it's good. It's a great veggie burger.
I was so excited after eating Boca burgers my whole life with some dry ass hippie patties.
Yeah,
when that came out, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, just like giant black beans in it and shit. Yeah. But it's like that's the thing is too. Is like when I used to tour around and like bop around and do shit, show up at some homie's house, he's got like vegan stew, and you're like, I remember we were at this like punk squat in like Poughkeepsie. It was like sleeping in a barn and these like it was more like I was like with this punk band and we're like going, and I was just like, damn, we're all hungry and cold and like wet, and just like this guy walks in with like this big pie. He's like, I made vegan stuff. I'm like, so sick. Just like all the vegetables were just raw. It was just like this crazy day. It was like hot ketchup water with like fucking just like squash. You're like just raw squash. I'm like, man, this vegan. I was just
that's some tour shit though.
Yeah, but just like you're still eating it. Like it's just like a fucking.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just like, but that's it. Like it's just like, I love food so much, and I'm also like down to just like be in a van with some dudes eating like frozen hot dogs, or we used to buy like little burritos and put them up with the heat on and up in the windshield of the van.
Wow.
See that shit, or go
some real
just
DIY
steal shit. Or just go steal shit.
You have a call in 1 minute, right? Zoom.
The what?
You have a Zoom in 1 minute. That's why I was wanna.
Oh yeah, and then you don't want him to get a ticket.
Oh yeah.
Parking.
And we gotta take a photo.
yeah.
And we gotta take a photo right now too.
Yeah.
Any more questions for this guy?
No.
It's fucking amazing, bro.
It's perfect.
Let me check out my notes.
Dance hard or die, motherfuckers.
Dance hard or die. Dude, thank you for being here, brother. I'm really stoked. I'm happy for you, your whole journey, and I'm excited to see what happens next for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a beacon of positive light energy. I appreciate it.
We're just trying to shine. We just try to do our thing.
Never give
Thank
up.
you for having me in your home
man.
and beautiful. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Mr. Lacey.
It's beautiful, you know?
Well, awesome, man. Thank you for being here, brother.
Yeah, baby.
Bye, everybody. Peace. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance Podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. U.S., Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology. Cryo-technology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out. Yo, people always ask me what kind of frames I'm rocking. I've been rocking Caddis for a couple years. They make amazing progressive readers, which I wear. Also, they make sunglass readers, anti-glare, anti-smudge coating, anti-scratch, and anti-aging. That's why I look mad young when I wear them. I'm just kidding. But they make amazing frames. Caddis, so stoked to have you guys part of the podcast. You can go to caddislife.com/Toby10 and get $10 off your first purchase. Stoked. Thank you, Caddis. Welcome to the fam. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. They have now blessed me with my own code. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives.